Welcome into the MPW Digital Postgame Show presented by Walk-On's Sports Bistreaux. I'm Neal McCready. That's Chase Parham. Ole Miss wins 31-21 over Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. My column is up at rebelgrove.com. I believe Chase's observations are up at rebelgrove.com. Walker Bailey will have a notebook up later. We'll have Lane Kiffin stuff to you as it comes in. We'll have stuff, obviously, in the morning as well. But thanks for being here with us as we get started. It's 10-22. Ole Miss finishes the season 10-2 overall, 6-2 in the SEC. If you had 10-2 in your bingo card, Ryan Brown had it.
He did.
He did. Absolutely.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So if you had 10-2, congrats. Ole Miss headed to probably the sugar or the peach, depending on what happens with the SEC championship game next week. So they'll find out a week from Saturday, realistically, where they're headed. So it'll be a few days. If you're the reservation type, you probably should make reservations in both Atlanta and New Orleans because there's no way to know exactly. Chase, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, I mean, Ole Miss kind of was fortunate to be ahead at the end of the first half, and then for the most part dominated the second half prior to that little bit of a late rally or whatever you want to call it by State that made it a little interesting, if nothing else. I mean, in Egg Bowl, of course, it got a little hairy for a second there. But, yeah, I mean, housekeeping, you mentioned it. First 10-win regular season in program history. Rebels go 10-2. Definitely will be ranked at least in the top 8 come college football playoff rankings. They've guaranteed it some semblance of a New Year's Six Bowl. I tweeted this out. I told Neal, Lane Kiffin, first Ole Miss head coach to win his first 2 Egg Bowls since Billy Brewer in 1983 and 84. Just a lot of stuff that kind of Ole Miss accomplished tonight from that standpoint as just put one hell of a season together. I mean, you look back and, frankly, even the way that the Alabama game went, and this is what I was thinking about a few minutes ago, the way the Alabama game went, they were sort of run off the field. You have the whole popcorn thing. The ball in the air against Arkansas played okay, but it either could have gone either way. The ability for them to run the table other than Auburn when Corral got hurt and that game just kind of went funky. Just a really impressive season. I think you wrote this or you at least mentioned it to me. This team's identity was just a bunch of winners. I mean, you look at it, and offensively they did enough. I mean, Matt Corral reached some semblance of legend status over the course of this season. He should be invited to New York. I don't know if he will be or not, but he should get an invite.
I think he's going to get invited. I think he's going to finish third.
Yeah, he won't win, but he should get an invite. He should get to experience that. I have a feeling he will definitely win the Connerly Trophy if you would like to give him that right now.
I like his chances.
I feel pretty good about that. And, you know, this defense, I mean, this is half a season where the defense won football games and kind of dominated to a certain extent at times. I mean, you look at it, and Ole Miss, they allowed 38 points per game last season in 2020. Lane talked about them having to get better. You thought they would in a second year in Durkin. They get Springer back. They get so many different things to make that possible. They allowed 25 points per game this season. 25. I mean, it's just a huge jump.
Yeah.
Got into probably the middle of the pack. I haven't looked it up. I can do it while we're talking here. Tonight, and frankly, it was even a little better than that. I mean, look at it today from a standpoint of where this thing actually went. They allowed, kind of less than 21 when the game was still in doubt. They allowed 21 or less in their last 3 wins of the season, and frankly, since that Arkansas game, they've been dominant. They allowed 31 against Auburn, but nothing in the second half. Even that day gave them a chance to come back and win that game if they didn't do it. So the defense just one hell of a job there. Sam Williams making a ton of money. Scott Lashley would be very happy this game ended tonight because Sam Williams wore him out over the course of the evening today. So you do MVPs. I mean, it's Springer, it's Corral, obviously, but Sam Williams, he sets the season sack record, and we've talked about it all year. Saw it in fall camp. He followed through in what was essentially a contract year, his last opportunity. He's going from having tons of questions about consistency, about his motor, to just making a damn lot of money come spring. I mean, that dude's going to be a pass rusher in the NFL, and he's going to get drafted pretty high to be able to do it.
Do us a favor. Please hit the like button. I think you have to step out of chat for a moment, hit the like button, and then step back into chat. It's pretty simple. Our thanks to Gulf Coast Reb for the super chat. Also Cameron Russell. Cameron Russell a second time. I'll answer their 2 questions. Will Lane be back next year with the transfer stud quarterback? Love you guys. Hope y'all didn't carb it up too bad today. I didn't carb it too well. I did too. I had good bit of dressing. That's okay. I did do
It's the only time of the year you'll have it.
Yeah,
so.
I did do a Peloton ride.
In like preparation?
I did. And I went hard for 45 minutes, and then even did a cool down ride where I didn't cool down.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I handled that. And then Cameron says, does Corral play the bowl game? Yeah, Corral plays the bowl game. Tell me Lane stays. I'm 90-something% sure at this point.
You feel pretty good about it right now.
Yeah, we'll get into it in a little bit. Adam wishes you happy birthday. Thanks for the super chat.
It actually
Adam.
almost is we're not too far away from them actually getting it right one day when they do it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Larry Joe says, great season. Time for chat to ante up on those super chats. Agree there. Let's finish the regular season like the team, calling timeouts with 1 second and slinging cash money. Is Kiffin already tweeting? So, listen, here's the deal about Kiffin. You're going to hear a lot of talk. The words are semantics a little bit. Is there an offer? There have been discussions. I know that for a fact. There have been discussions about a contract extension. It's about $8 million a year. I don't know the exact number. It's about $8 million. There are some other things that have to get done first. There's some stuff. The one job that's out there that I think you have to at least keep an eye on. I don't think it's a big eye, if I'm honest. I'll tell you why. Miami is a job that you got to watch a little bit over the weekend. But I believe that if Miami makes a move, it's because they know that they're getting Mario Cristobal.
Right.
I don't think it's for Lane Kiffin. I talked to a couple people today, really close to Kiffin, who would know, who said they would be pretty surprised if Kiffin weren't back at Ole Miss next year. I wrote about this in my column. Suggest that you read it. I'm probably breaking a rival's rule by saying this, but we're about 30 minutes away from a promo that's going to kick in.
Are we embargoed on that?
We're technically embargoed until
midnight. But hey,
midnight.
it's going to be all right.
So yeah. I didn't push it out.
No.
There's a promo coming in about 31 minutes. So if you're looking for Black Friday gifts, or you just have not yet subscribed,
you can get Christmas shopping done right.
Yeah, but if you've never subscribed and you want to subscribe, jump in. We'll have that to you. Probably, if we remember to, we'll post it tonight. If not, we'll make sure we post it in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't want to get into semantics on exactly what it looks like or doesn't, and I wouldn't want like a gun to my head, but at the same time, if you made me bet right now, Lane is back, and not just back, but he has a contract that is somewhere around $8 million a year. It's
a 4-year deal. Obviously,
it has to be a 4-year deal.
And that's all they can do. There's some rollovers and stuff. We'll get into it.
There's
later.
some gimmicky auto rollover stuff, but
I think progress was made this week. We'll go there. Robert, thanks so much for the big-time super chat. That's very nice of you. He says, thanks for the pods. Thanks for the fun. Great year to be a Rebel. Keep it up, guys. It has been a full football season. We have.
It's a little weird. It's regular season's over, frankly. Like it feels strange.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, in all seriousness, we'll get to Jeffrey in a second. I know we need to get to him pretty fast. We'll talk to Brian, but we thought you and I were 8-4, 9-3 is kind of where we both had them.
I had 9-3.
Yeah, and I had 8-4.
I thought they would lose to A&M. That's the one. I got one game wrong.
Yeah, tonight was the only one I got wrong.
Yeah, I had them beating State.
Had I said 10-2, would it have looked like kind of what it looked like? If I told you, hey, they're going to go 10-2, is this sort of what you would have expected? The way everything sort of played, not even the games, but just personnel wise. Yeah, is this kind of what you would have expected? I would
have thought that defense improved dramatically. I would have thought that the offense kept rolling. I wouldn't have been able to foresee that all the receivers would get hurt and all of that stuff. But yeah, I would have said, hey, defense really steps up, and the defense really stepped up. They were great tonight.
I mean, and Matt Corral running the football sets everything in motion. I mean, that's the deal. I mean, he said a couple weeks ago, hey, I'm pretty healthy. Getting, I think 1 week from 100% was what Matt said. He looked pretty damn healthy tonight. He moved around well. You knew he was going to run the football. And what he did with his feet, it just opens up so many other things because it allows them to get teams out of that 8-man drop. It gets them to kind of bring more guys up to the line of scrimmage, to start spying him, to take some of the brackets. I thought that late first half, early second half, Ole Miss was able to get into their normal passing concepts because of Corral running the football and opening that up. Whereas early on, it was just so much motion and swings and things because the way they were taking away some of that stuff down the field. So, I mean, I thought that he just really keyed everything. And I mean, Snoop Connor was a grown man tonight. They kind of got everything going.
Yeah, he was terrific. Walt, thanks for the super chat. He wants to know about Dan Mullen coaching on Saban's staff. I have no idea.
His ego feels too high for this Nick Saban appreciation tour. I just can't quite buy that with Dan. I know I'd love to see it. It'd make for a great pod, but I don't buy that.
Our buddy Uncle Sammy with a huge super chat. Thanks so much, buddy. We appreciate you as always. He says, thanks for another year of hilarity and high drama. Thanksgiving blessings to you, your families, and everyone in the OEP clan. Same to you, our friend. And then Cameron says, keep the content coming. Kiffin takes the $8 million, right? Yeah, look. Yeah, obviously he does. Look, I think some people have made out like Kiffin being unhappy is way too strong. I think, and I wrote about this in my column. There's a lot in the column that's there. A little frustrated, I think, with some things. And then I think there's some criticism of him that he has heard from people close to him that he has listened to this week. Like, hey, it's not all on – some of it's on you. And again, you're 10-2, 6-2 in the league. Everything's pretty good. I think there's an acknowledgement that, hey, you're going to have to hit it in recruiting a little differently. I think there has to be a little bit more outreach. I think his aloofness sometimes is misunderstood, and some of that's on him, and I think he knows it. Thanks to Gulf Coast. He says, thanks for all you guys do. Love the content. Happy Thanksgiving. Same to you, Gulf Coast. Max says, y'all occupy a lot of our time, win or lose. Thanks for grinding daily. We appreciate that. Appreciate you recognizing it. We really do. Jay Robertson says, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and y'all are by far my favorite. Listen every day. Great season. Keep up the great work. Clay Smith with the super chat as well. Clay, thank you so much. Appreciate it. It's been
why you said that? You mentioned emotion, but you got that twice. You got that twice tonight. You got it at halftime. Lane Kiffin made fun of cowbells, so that audio will be going all over the state and the creation. He was answering one of Richard's questions, and in the middle, used an expletive to describe the annoying cowbells. And then the GIF that has completely taken over the college football section of the internet when he turns around to the stands and does the "It's over" sign when Ole Miss went ahead 31-13. So you got kind of the full Lane Kiffin experience from that standpoint tonight.
Yeah. About the quarterback, by the way, they're going to try to go out and get a quarterback. They know they have to. Thanks to Marco. He says, my men. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you. Daniel, he says, I effing love this postgame show.
No, Tony, Virginia Tech nor Miami is a better opportunity than Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a far better job than either one of those jobs.
Yeah. Here's the deal with Miami. I didn't know about a lot of this until today. I talked to somebody who would absolutely know. Miami is apparently the cryptocurrency capital of the universe. Did you know this?
Not until you told me that earlier today.
That's right. We talked earlier today. And so there's a lot of new multimillionaires and a couple of new billionaires, and that's where the money for Cristobal, if it comes, that's where it would come from. So Alex Martin with the big super chat. Appreciate you, my man. That's very nice. Really appreciate you as always.
Appreciated you for a long time.
Long time. Thank you so much. So that's where the Miami thing is coming from. The Virginia Tech thing, my mother mentioned that to me today, and I was like, wait, what?
Hang on, your mom did?
Yeah. She goes, did you hear about Lane Kiffin going to Virginia Tech? I was like, what? No, he's not. No. Virginia Tech, no. You could talk me into Miami one day being a good job again, but not Virginia Tech. Thanks to Clayton Allen. He says, no need to say anything on the show. Thanks for content. No, we're going to thank you for it. Appreciate you. T. David, my man, that's incredibly nice. Thank you so much. Greatest season of pod and postgame, pregame ever. Keep doing what you guys do best. Hats off to MPW Digital and hats off to the Ole Miss football team. My dad didn't even know that we had done a pregame show all year.
Really?
It's I was like.
But Judy did.
Yeah, she knew about it.
She knew.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, we did. It's like 3.5 hours a week. Apparently the players are live on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not watch it because we were obviously working, but I think Ole Miss did a pretty hell of a job with their little Twitch show. Not little, but with their Twitch show throughout the game. They had a lot of guests, a lot of stuff, and then it's one of those deals, too, where, I mean, we know this from the stuff we do. Credit to them, then you also get the win because that thing can go horribly wrong on a game that you don't know exactly what the outcome is. So, like, it's one of those deals from that standpoint.
Thanks to Trip Cruz. Hell of a season. Thanks for bringing the content week in and week out. Thank you for noticing, Trip. We really appreciate that. Mark Palmer, thank you guys. I've really enjoyed watching and reading you guys for the past 2 years. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. Here comes Ace. Really appreciate you, my man. Big-time fan. I listen to you guys on the daily. Keep doing what you do. Heavy into crypto myself. With a couple of hashtags. I've got to understand crypto here soon.
Think so?
Yeah, I think so. My daughters have told me I need to.
It's not like you don't. I mean, if you did a financial podcast, you might need to know, but otherwise you're fine.
Yeah.
So
well, we've done, and I've listened to that on my show, and I still don't get it. Daniel, thanks a lot. He says, "Does the hot gummy taste test happen tonight?" We don't have them, thank God. We did that already once before. I love everything you guys.
Because if it was there, we'd already be past it. We'd be like dying right now.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's probably.
No,
there's 248 likes. For you guys who haven't refreshed it, you're not seeing the updated number of likes. Now, there should still be a lot more. There are 877 pieces.
Yeah, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Thank you. Hit the like button. Press it.
That would
hit
help.
it. Stomp it. Whatever the case may be. Yeah, my account did get taken over by crypto that time.
Something it didn't matter today, but in all seriousness, from a mental standpoint, credit to Kel Nation tonight.
Sure.
Hit some kicks, did what he had to do when that had to be kind of mental hell. I mean, you missed that first extra point. You don't get back in throughout the season. You're thrust in for the scratch of Caden Costa, as ESPN called it prior to the game. Yeah, he was a late scratch. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I laughed. I was like, okay. Fine.
Yeah, I did too. I laughed out loud at that.
All right,
I was like,
Testator.
come
Fine.
on. Yeah.
But it's all good. I don't know. I mean, it's a season that I think later on you kind of reflect and go, the things they were able to do. I mean, you pull out the close games. I mean, the way they sort of dominated physically against A&M there at one point. I mean, just stepping up in so many strange ways.
Well,
to get to 10 lanes.
I thought tonight that they physically kicked Mississippi State's ass. I mean, you can talk about the air raid and you can talk about a lot of that stuff, but there were a handful of plays. Snoop Connor running the football, Sam Williams off the edge. Chance Campbell made some plays. Mm-hmm. Springer made some plays. There were some plays where physically Ole Miss took it to them over the course of the night. Dontario Drummond running the ball. There was a play where Mingo had a big block on the edge. I just thought physically Ole Miss dominated the game. Rodgers made a play here and there, and they scored some points, blah, blah, blah. Give the kid credit for the interception because that kind of got them back at least into it for a minute there in the fourth quarter. But Johnson is his name, I think. But physically, Ole Miss dominated that game. That, to me, we talk about identity. That was the difference. Last year, there was never a point where I really thought Ole Miss dominated a game physically. This year, there were a handful of games, especially in the second half of the season, where Ole Miss lined up and physically dominated someone, and I think that's a sign. Michael, thank you for the super chat. He says, I'm an artist, listening to my studio every day. Let's see, it's going too fast for me to keep up with it. Went to grad school at Ole Miss, hotty toddy. I never listened to Feinbaum anymore. You're the real deal. Appreciate that very much. Big Ben, thank you as well. Great content this season. Look forward to coaching carousel coverage from two of the best to cover coaching carousel searches. Hopefully we're not covering one of our own. I don't think we are. Jonathan, thanks so much. Who's our next supermodel after this win? Will we be breaking up soon? I don't think so. It's really funny. I think
you can calm down for now.
I think Lane Kiffin is beginning to understand that he needs Ole Miss. Ole Miss is the one school that's giving him the opportunity, and now they're giving him a ton of money. And I think I think you saw some of it today on Twitter before the game. I haven't looked at Twitter right now because I'm hosting a show, but I think he understands that. Look, LSU didn't give him an opportunity. This isn't a knock on LSU. I think they're going to hire Lincoln Riley. Florida didn't give him an opportunity. Florida's going to hire Billy Napier. I don't know what the hell USC is going to do, but it's not Lane Kiffin. The opportunity's coming from Ole Miss. That's who's giving him the opportunity. Jarrett, thank you so much. He says, great season, great win. Thanks for all the hard work y'all put in all season. Also, your thoughts on Air Force's chances. I don't have any thoughts.
Chris Lowe pointing out the Ole Miss defense held 9 of 12 opponents to 24 or fewer points this season. Now, had you told me that at the beginning of the year, I said, okay, 10-2 might be on the play. Yeah, they're cooking with gas at that point. So that's pretty substantial.
Bryant says, howdy toddy, thanks fellas for all the content this year. How nervous should I be reserving a non-refundable room in New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl? I mean, kind of nervous.
Yeah, because look, okay, real quick on that. College football playoff rankings decide the Sugar Bowl because it is the highest ranked SEC team not in the playoff. So here's the situation. If Alabama beats Georgia, makes the playoff, Ole Miss is in the Sugar Bowl.
Right.
Ole Miss is also in the Sugar Bowl if Georgia beats Alabama and Alabama falls below Ole Miss in the rankings, which I think is technically possible here with Georgia maybe blowing them out.
Sure.
I think Ole Miss can move up and you could have some weird stuff there. Because I'm not sure in that instance, because Ole Miss is pretty pumped up. The Sugar Bowl might want Ole Miss over Alabama in that instance.
Oh, there's no doubt Well, there's no question who the Sugar Bowl would want.
New Orleans wants Ole Miss.
Yes.
They'd like to do New Year's Eve with Ole Miss.
They don't want 2-loss Alabama coming off of an SEC championship game loss. Knocked them out of the playoff where their people go screw it.
Yeah, they want Ole Miss.
But the computers are the computers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes and no. It's a committee who does the rankings. You could move a spot up to do some different things.
So would you bet on New Orleans right now?
I don't think Alabama's getting in the playoff. So I think to get to New Orleans...
You don't think Alabama losing gets in the playoff? Is that what you're saying? Alabama winning and
I think Alabama's losing to Georgia, and I don't think they get in the playoff after losing the football game.
Okay.
That is my guess.
So then it's real iffy.
I think it requires Ole Miss to bump ahead of Alabama.
Okay.
Which is doable because, I mean, you start getting into some weird stuff there. And, look, the committee has shown that they're not completely beholden at all to how games went on the field. I mean, they had Michigan State ranked ahead of Michigan forever.
Gulf Coast Rev, he says 45,200% more viewers right now than SEC and beyond. Good investment.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, I'm rooting for New Orleans because, I mean, Neal and I are talking about it. We'll obviously do our show. We will be here with you guys for the actual bowl game, but we're going to have to go. We're going to have to do some media stuff when we're there. I would much rather go to New Orleans than Atlanta.
Oh, it's not even close.
I mean, I'll be more than happy to go to New Orleans.
5 days in New Orleans or 5 days in Atlanta? Yeah, I know where I want to go. 95 Ole Miss Rebel, he says, thank you, Neal and Chase, for all you've done this season. You made this year much more enjoyable with your coverage. That's very nice of you to say. Blake.
Yeah, but just to finish that thought, is if Alabama remains ahead of Ole Miss and doesn't make the playoff, then it is peach unless the Bowls start doing some negotiating. Because ESPN, I'm not ready to complete. I know Keith Carter said it's peach or sugar, and I think he's right. I'm 99.9%.
Is it possible it's Fiesta?
I think it's possible it's Fiesta. I think there could do some weird moving around to send Ole Miss to Tempe.
Because outside of the playoff teams, Ole Miss might be the hottest team that people would want. Because
I haven't been to a bowl since the Sugar in 15 or after last year, but I'm not counting it.
Has it been that long?
Well, they went to the Outback Bowl last year.
Yeah, that's right. But that doesn't really. I mean, it
counts, but it doesn't.
But from a fan standpoint,
not
it doesn't
like this thing.
From a fan standpoint, it doesn't count.
Yeah,
because you couldn't take tons and tons of people.
Yeah.
Blake, thank you so much. He says thanks for all you guys do. It's really nice of you, Blake Hankins. Best in the business, he says. Well, it's very nice. Marine Rebel, thanks for all the content, all you guys do. Wish I could give more, but Christmas is near. We really appreciate what you did give, my man, very much. Richard, thank you very much. Stanton, very, very much to you too. The Regulator, David Ellis, Gil Pettit. If I'm missing anybody, I'm apologizing ahead of time. I think I'm okay.
It would be the first time Ole Miss had ever gone to that bowl. I mean, just from a turnout standpoint. I mean, people in the stream. How many of you would go to Phoenix? I mean, what does Ole Miss take? That's a long way. I mean, I know you're on a plane either way potentially, but that's a while. That's a hard one. So I don't know. And I do like Doors Rule says, I do think there'd be people that did that. They were look, the Sugar is going to by far sell the most Ole Miss tickets. That's not even close. I mean, we know Ole Miss' relationship with New Orleans.
Oh, how that would go. They'll take 30,000 people down there.
Atlanta's a weird one though. Everybody's not going to be thrilled about spending a bunch of days in Atlanta.
Well, because they already played there too.
Sure.
I mean, it's been a few months, but they did play there.
That would also be the second time since 14 they did that because they opened and closed in 14 there too. When they played in the Peach Bowl. They were in the Chick-fil-A game that year against Boise State.
Webb, thank you so much, buddy, for the super chat. You've been with us for a long time. We certainly appreciate you. He says, remember, all of us be thankful. April 2020, we all remember if we would have had jobs in the future, no doubt. Look how far this Potato Log podcast has come. Have a great night. Same to you, Webb. Happy Thanksgiving to you, my friend. When is the Fiesta, someone asked? I don't know. They're all I don't know. I haven't. I've got it here. Hold on.
You got what?
The SEC media guide thing has all the bowls.
Okay, sure. Whatever.
I just hadn't kept up with it.
Maybe not.
Not really. I just kind of let the bowl thing sort of play out. I was
The
like,
Sugar is January 1 at 7:45 at night. The Rose
their
is
standard spot.
4 o'clock on January 1, their standard spot. The Fiesta is January 1 at noon. Now, these are Central Times, whatever. And the Peach is December 30th.
Ooh.
So the Peach is early.
Yeah.
That's also kind of a negative. Well, it could be both, but that's a weird time slot. Yeah, December 30th.
And now the Peach is not going to want Alabama either because Alabama would have just been there in Atlanta. So
that's where
the fight's coming.
It really is.
Yeah, the fight's coming.
If Alabama doesn't get into the playoff,
Well, that might be where the Fiesta goes. Give us Alabama.
yeah, we don't get them very often.
Yeah,
sure.
we'll take Alabama.
Yeah, that's different. We'll do it.
And I don't know how people are going to say, how does that work? We will try to.
That would let the Peach just be an at-large spot. That's like Notre Dame versus somebody. Then at that point,
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I don't know whether you can negotiate. I'm sure that you can. I don't know.
I have a hard time believing if two bowls want certain things and all they need is the committee to move two teams one spot.
That they'll do it.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
we need a favor.
Yeah.
Put Ole Miss 4, put Alabama 5, or whatever, not 4 or 5, but, okay, cool.
Candler Harris, thank you so much. He says, y'all are the best. Great show, great season.
Let me
Appreciate
throw
you
one
very
at you.
much.
I mean, and this is a very positive show tonight. I'm not even trying to get people down because I get this is look, you could have had more losses. Balls were in the air. They beat Auburn. Are they in the playoff? Would they have a shot at that 4 at 11-1 with Bama the only loss?
Yeah, I would think.
If you need Georgia to wreck Alabama.
You'd need Georgia to wreck Alabama, and then I don't know the rest. Yeah, but I think they'd get in over Cincinnati. Ohio State would probably, as a Big Ten champ, get in above them. And then, yeah, I think you'd be the 4.
Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, not dwelling on that, but just an interesting thing.
Yeah. You're not getting to 4. But
you have no way to get to 4.
There's no chance. Life says you can negotiate anything. He's right.
Right now, for people that are curious, Georgia's 1, Ohio State's 2, Alabama's 3. It's going to be hard to fall, frankly. Jumping Alabama was going to be very difficult. Cincinnati's 4, Michigan's 5, Notre Dame is 6, Oklahoma State is 7, Baylor's 8, Ole Miss is 9.
Where would Ole Miss rather go, the program? Arizona or the Peach?
Arizona, I think. I think you would like to mark off another one of those. You've been to the Peach. You're in Atlanta all the time for different things. Like I think getting a Fiesta Bowl would be kind of neat. Like I think that would be
Sure.
a different deal. Would be a little more of a reward, something strange. And frankly, well, I mean, look, the date doesn't necessarily matter. I do think there's something to playing on New Year's Day versus playing on December 30th.
Yeah.
There's a weird something with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
December 30th, what day of the week is that? Is that a Friday? I don't know.
I mean, Can Alabama lose and stay 4?
It is a Friday. It's a Thursday. What?
Can Alabama lose and go 11-2 and stay 4?
I mean, that's what people – you've watched that thing more than I have. That's what people say. Like if Alabama loses a 31-28 game to Georgia, that they could still stay in the thing. But do they stay as the 4 and you get to watch that game again? I guess.
But that also means you've got to keep out some pretty big names potentially. Like I don't know, maybe. I mean, whatever. We're just kind of going in circles, but.
All right, we're going to get Jeffrey and Brian, and we're going to keep it really short because we want to get to you guys. We're just going to get there quick. We're just going to get their thoughts and then move on.
I'm having a hard time maybe keeping up with the chat because it's moving, but I'll try to kind of pay attention.
Jeffrey ready? Do you know?
I have no idea.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
And we are taping this in case anybody wants to know. We'll perhaps put it up as a.
We have it as an option.
Good evening.
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm not doing as well as y'all are based on Super Chats.
People are excited, Jeffrey. They're in a good mood.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to y'all. Excuse me. Thanks.
We're gonna keep it tight with you and Brian, just because we're gonna go to a lot of calls. People are dying to get into the show. So just your overall 10,000, or I guess it's 30,000 foot view of tonight and the season.
So I thought tonight was to quote my high school football coach Bobby Alston, a lot of times games come down to like 7 plays, and to me the story of the night was when Ole Miss had to make plays, they made plays. You think about that drive to make it 10-6. That was a big drive. Mississippi State drops 2 touchdown passes. The previous drive, Will Rogers had a guy wide open in the end zone. He missed him. And from that point forward, we've discussed it. When Ole Miss has a lead, they're a very good team. And they closed them out. And to me, that was kind of the biggest difference is when you think about who made plays and who didn't make plays, I thought Ole Miss made more. I thought the other thing that was interesting, and maybe y'all disagree, I took notice of kind of the atmosphere or the way that this game felt. It felt like another SEC game to me, in that it was a big game because it's an SEC opponent. But I think Kiffin was smart in when you try to make this game into the be-all, end-all, I think that plays into Mississippi State's hands.
Yeah, all week, what he played up all week long was 10 wins, 10 wins, 10 wins, 10 wins. It was winning 10 games. It was your season accomplishment, not the Egg Bowl. And, to get to 10, obviously you got to beat State, so it goes hand in hand. But he made it about them and not about beating State.
Yeah, and there's also the flip side of it. I think the fact that Mike Leach didn't kind of embrace it in the way that, you make this the be-all, end-all, I think you can't discount that, because I think oftentimes State kind of forces you into that, and that I think this played into Ole Miss's hands. And I think that was I think that was to their benefit. And then in general, I know he's not going to win the Heisman. We've talked about it, whatnot, but I just felt like yet again for, I don't know, the 10th game of the year, number 2 was the best player on the field.
Yeah. Number 7 was pretty close, but yeah, number 2 was
number 7 was pretty good. I thought number 35 was also pretty good until he got knocked out for
I mean, you got to give Mark credit. He earns them when he gets them.
No, I will say that. Got his money's worth on that one.
Chase, we were sitting in here when it happened. Chase goes, "That wasn't targeting," and they watched the replay, and Chase went, "Oh, that is targeting."
I'm picking on my brother, but he came over and watched the game with us. And shout outs to my wife and my brother. They nearly made it to the third quarter tonight. My wife I've never seen a human being watch her team go 10-2 and have more misery and hate this team and have less actual enjoyment in a season than my wife. And then I kind of factored in my brother might be right there with her, because I've never seen two people be more, this team sucks, we're going to lose, and then actually have them go 10-2 than anyone. So I'm proud of the Wrights. The Wrights stepped up this year.
Lane was asked even in the postgame about the cowbells, and he said those bells are really annoying. They don't even come close to following the rules. Whatever the rule is, they're supposed to stop. They don't. That was his comment.
No, they go from ringing them up here to ringing them down below.
And it's also a really antiquated rule at this point, because the rule is once they get to the line of scrimmage, well, the way plays are called, nobody huddles any damn more. So the rule's even stupid from that standpoint. Also, real quick, just as we're talking, Jeffrey, somebody asked, the Peach and the Fiesta are at-large versus at-large. There's 0 tie-ins for either bowl. So those two bowls can manipulate each other and do whatever they want to, all they want.
I disagree with you. I do not think the only way Ole Miss passes Alabama if shenanigans happen. Again, as I know lots of people have pointed out.
Like other teams lose and puts them right beside one another?
No. A deal has to be cut.
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah.
And that listen, there's enough money involved where someone could do that. By the way,
right? And again, I'm not dismissing that that's a possibility, but in general, when teams finish with the same record, if one team loses head to head, against the other, they keep the head to head. And the other thing you got to remember about the Ole Miss Alabama game, guys, that it was never close.
No, of course not. And really, it's not even the same record. I mean, they went 11-1 in the regular season.
Right. So it'd be 11-2 versus 10-2.
Yeah.
With that said, I think y'all are more focused on the location. What I think matters more is the game,
the matchup.
Yeah,
like they need to win it.
Let's say the Fiesta Bowl would be against Notre Dame. I think more people would be pumped to go to the Fiesta Bowl against Notre Dame versus, let's say, Wake Forest wins the ACC. Ole Miss, Wake, even though you probably have a better chance of beating Wake, I think the matchup matters more.
Now, if I'm the Peach Bowl and I'm going to get stuck with Wake, by God, I'm fighting for Ole Miss.
Just if you're curious,
because Ole Miss will take 40,000 people.
Like CBS right now has Sugar, Ole Miss, Oklahoma.
There'd be a lot of points in that game.
Everyone is doing the thing right now where because Alabama is still ranked inside the top 4,
they're putting them in.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly. Correct. So what this really boils down to, if y'all want to go to the Sugar Bowl, go and get your Crimson, baby, and roll Tide.
Because if they win, then you're
that's
good.
It. It's over because they're not dropping Georgia out.
So out of these 4. You want Notre Dame, right? Because right now, the 4 at-large teams, Michigan State, Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, Pittsburgh. You want Notre Dame.
Well, what about Michigan?
Well, they would fall in. They're in the Rose right now, though. Because if Ohio State wins, Michigan could still stay the highest-ranked Big Team not and get in the Rose.
Right, but the question is, what will they do when technically Michigan State could go to the Rose and technically Wisconsin could go to the Rose. And so,
that would be good if you had Notre Dame and Michigan as options.
Correct. As those, but there's no question you want to play those schools.
Yeah, the big schools. You don't want Pitt.
Right. You want to play big. You want to play big.
And I'm tired of Ole Miss playing Oklahoma State and things.
The only thing, I completely agree. I'm sick of every good year that Ole Miss has having to go watch them play a lifeless Oklahoma State team.
Yeah, it's fair.
But I do think, at least with Pitt, you can talk yourself into Pickett versus Corral for the number 1 pick. You know what I mean? Or for the number 1 quarterback pick. Like, at least you can talk yourself into that.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Now, again, the worst case scenario in my mind is Cincinnati loses, and then it's Peach Bowl versus either Cincinnati or Houston.
And it's gross.
Oh, my God. Do you want to talk about just taking the – I mean, there's a reason why the G5 team has some success in that game is, at least Ole Miss will be in that game coming off of a great finish of the season. But, I mean, congratulations. You just did something no team has ever done, in the history of the program, and your reward is to go play a G5. I'm sorry. That's the problem with the system.
This is a problem at Mississippi State, by the way. I don't know how much this means, but Mike Leach in his last 10 rivalry games is 1-9.
Yeah, it's an issue.
The problem is, in most of those rivalry games, he was at Washington State playing Washington.
Yeah. He's been the worst team every time.
Exactly. I don't, everyone loves to use a statistic that proves their point. The truth is, a lot of people like to downgrade Mike Leach because Mike Leach is a conservative. And I said I'm the first person I think that's had the balls to say that.
Probably true. And that you're exactly right, and I think you're the first person I've ever heard actually say it. Hey, we're gonna get to Brian, then get to calls. Appreciate you so much all season. You doing this, and we'll get you on here soon. Maybe one of the Oxford Exxon podcasts. We'll get you on and talk bowls and all that stuff. If that's okay.
All right, guys.
All right, my man. Bye.
Chris Lowe doing a little stumping for Matt Corral on Twitter right now. Says still time before Heisman ballots are due, but few players admit as much to their team as Matt Corral. Only FBS player with more than 3,000 passing yards and 500 rushing yards entering the week. Rebels have 10 regular season wins for first time ever.
You can call me a homer, and I'm cool with it. That's fine. I'm voting for him for the Heisman. I'm voting him number 1, Bryce Young number 2, and C.J. Stroud number 3. That's going to be my ballot.
Okay.
I mean, he willed Ole Miss to 10 wins.
Yeah, 10-2.
And in the middle of the season, when all the receivers were gone, a lesser quarterback drops one of those games.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll get Brian quickly, and then we'll get to you guys' calls.
What's up?
What's up, Brian? How are you?
Good. How are y'all?
Good. We're not going to keep you long at all. Just kind of give us your overall thoughts on the game, the season, what it kind of put it in perspective.
Man, I mean, I guess Corral kind of summed it up in that post game, right? It seemed like Ole Miss, at least from the message that Kiffin had preached internally all week, was kind of do something you haven't done before rather than get bogged down with all the rivalry stuff and kind of punch down, for the lack of a better phrase. And I thought they played a pretty good game tonight. They were good defensively when they needed to be and just good enough offensively. You know, when you look at the final statistics of this game, they don't make a ton of sense. Technically, I mean, State ended up with 420 yards, Ole Miss is 388. Ole Miss, in theory, lost the turnover battle. But, I mean, it's one of those things, if you actually watch the game with your own eyes, Ole Miss made more plays on the crucial downs and really kind of handled State in this one. What'd y'all think?
Yeah, I thought they physically whipped them. I didn't think the game was – I mean, if I give the Johnson kid credit for State. He makes the interception in the fourth quarter that kind of prevents a blowout, but I thought Ole Miss dominated the game.
And
it's kind of what they've done, kind of what they did all year.
Unbelievable in this game. And it didn't even really come down to the sacks, right? I mean, he had the holding call where he went through cross and the guard where State was poised to score on that drive where they had 3 drops consecutively that backed them up. And, you know, the huge sack on 4th down. I thought he affected this game more than any other player out there.
Yeah, he was terrific. He made as people pointed out, he made a ton of money this year. Just had a dominant season, especially the second half of the season, I guess. It seems like he kind of turned it on somewhere around week 4, week 5, and then just dominated from that point forward. He was terrific, and got to give DJ Durkin a ton of credit. I mean, last year people were like, hey, does this guy know what he's doing? Well, the answer is clearly yes. I mean, they improved dramatically on defense. And if I'm Lane Kiffin, I'm working hard to figure out a way to try to keep him, and I'm putting enough money together for Jeff Lebby where the only way I lose him is to a head coaching job. I've got to find a way to not lose him to another coordinator gig. I want to keep those guys as my coordinators, where the only way I lose them is if they become head coaches, at which point you say, hey, congrats.
100%. Tough to argue with that. What did you guys think of State's approach offensively? I know it's kind of they do what they do, but they seem to have some mild success running the ball in spots. And, I mean, I think they finished with 84 yards in this game, but that to me was the story of the game, particularly in the red zone. When the field shrunk, not that things got easier for Ole Miss defensively, but State looked a hell of a lot more pedestrian when you got down by the goal line. Now, granted, they didn't execute well either, but I don't know. It just seemed like the second half of the season, Leach had kind of just run the ball enough, particularly in the red zone, to keep teams honest and actually made them a bit more effective. And there wasn't a lot of that tonight. I don't really know why. You would think the conditions would play into that more as well.
I just think that's who he is. That's what he does. Yeah. You know, it sounds simple, but I think that's the answer. That's just what he does, and he believes it works, and oftentimes it does. You know, like I said, I saw them in person a couple of weeks ago, and they had some red zone issues, and they got bogged down some. And when you put pressure on him, he is not accurate. And Ole Miss pressured him some today. They confused him a little bit. I thought I don't care what his final numbers were. I thought Rodgers had an adequate game. He got hurt a little bit at the end of the first half. It wasn't his fault with the drop touchdown passes, but I thought in the second half Ole Miss really got to him and bothered him, got him off platform, and again dominated the game physically. To me, that's what sticks out, is that they just dominated the game physically, which is something that Ole Miss didn't really do last season. Certainly didn't do it the last couple of seasons of the Matt Luke era. They've become in the midst of all this Kiffin and everyone talking about, they throw it all over the place. The truth is they've become a very physical football team. And if you're talking about identity, and I wrote about identity tonight, that's kind of part of their identity that they're starting to establish. It's going to be a challenge moving it forward because of roster issues and that kind of thing. But I do think that's what you can go tell recruits is, hey, we're not this pass-happy air raid team. That's the team we just got through kicking their ass. We are a physical football team who likes to throw some.
They run the ball well, and they went 10-2 without their best offensive lineman in the middle. Ben Brown has been out for weeks. I mean, just such a physical presence, such a leader that's been gone. They've had to move so many guys around. The 3 wide receivers were all banged up at different point. I mean, Mingo just now got back from that injury early in the season. I mean, the things they did with all the injuries on offense, they played the whole freaking season with 1 tight end.
Well, Drummond played
Casey Kelly played everything.
Drummond played the whole second half of the season with the hamstring issue. Did you see tonight he ran a little sweep reverse thing, and he actually, you could see the thing grab.
Matt Corral was asked tonight if he will play in the bowl game, and his quote was, "Yeah, I'm healthy, I'm playing." So he will play in the bowl game. That
Drummond sweep was kind of hilarious. It looked like he was almost trying to, finish up like a 10K or something. And I mean, hell, he got 50 yards on it too. But I think that's all well said, particularly defensively. And it's crazy to think about because that's something Ole Miss hasn't had for, a half decade at this point. But you're right. If you look at their 2 biggest wins of the year, I guess you could throw Tennessee in there, given what Tennessee's done later, in the latter half of the season and make an argument. But if you call it State and Texas A&M, their 2 biggest wins of the year, they won that game both of those games because they were more physical than the other team defensively. I mean, at no point in the second half of this year, I think back to Louisville, right, and particularly when Ole Miss played the 2 kind of cupcakes after that, 3rd, 4th down was just kind of a number, and you figured they were going to convert it. They hadn't looked like that version of that offense really since Arkansas, and that was more of a run-heavy version of it. They won their 2 biggest games of the year because of their defense and because they were more physical defensively. And, I mean, Ole Miss was down 6-3 when State had the ball. I mean, in 2020, that's 13, 14, 3 at worst, and then you're chasing the game. I mean, it's almost a given. And tonight you actually kind of felt like for the first time in quite a while that they were going to get a stop. And not only that, but multiple stops to keep them in the game.
Absolutely.
Who would you, last thing, and I'm just kind of curious about this, if the 3 teams all played a round robin, how would you rate this year versus 14 and 15? Who you got?
That's a great question, honestly.
I got to think about that.
I think 15, I think I would take that version of that defense and a healthy Chad Kelly, but I could hear arguments for the other 3.
It's one of those 2, even though the 14 team did lead the country in defense.
Oh, that was the better defense.
And that secondary
so hold on. Are you saying as an aggregate or at its peak, those 3 teams?
Do peak. I mean, whatever.
Peak might be 14.
Peak might be 14.
You think so? Because you got
at their absolute highest moment.
And all credit to him because he was one hell of a warrior, but that's the worst quarterback.
It is, but it's the best defense.
It's by far the best defense.
How do you guys put this season in perspective? Y'all have covered
because who on this team is going Treadwell not over and over, and I mean that.
Well, there's nobody to guard him.
That's true. That's pre-injury Treadwell, too, if you're talking about peak.
Don't spoil it now because we have December to get through.
Okay, we got a minute.
We could do this podcast.
This is a day is what this is called.
What was your question,
Brian? I'm just curious. You guys have been around in the SEC a long time. Ole Miss goes 10-2. They're 6-2 in the SEC. I believe they were 6-2 in 15, but it's their first 10-win regular season in history, and I don't know. I've only been kind of alive and conscious, I would say, from 2003 on in terms of following Ole Miss football. But it's not that it feels lesser by any stretch, but it doesn't feel like it was as hard to get to. And I don't even necessarily mean that as a knock on the season. I guess I would just put it as an open-ended question. How do you guys encapsulate the fact that Ole Miss just went 10-2? For whatever reason, the whole 14-15 grind felt harder. But this team actually got to the mountaintop, for the lack of a better metaphor.
No, I think it speaks volumes about kind of the will of this team, which is what always struck me a little bit, which was just pure will. I mean, I think we will look back and go, that win over Arkansas was a big win. Because if Arkansas wins tomorrow, they're 8-4. If Tennessee wins tomorrow, that's a 7-5 team that lined up and went head-to-head with Alabama.
And was geeked out of their minds.
And went head-to-head with Ole Miss that night. I mean, that's a Tennessee team that goes, hey, man, we weren't that far from being special. Arkansas is going, we're not that far from being really special. I mean, and those are fair arguments on their part. I don't know that I'm even answering your question. I think the answer is it tells you a lot about Matt Corral. It tells you a lot about just having some veteran guys, and I think it speaks volumes to what they got out of their defense over the course of a season where guys consistently stepped up. I mean, you go back and look at that Arkansas game where they couldn't stop them, 676 yards of offense is what they surrendered that day. And since then, they just steadily improved. with even against Alabama, where that game could have gotten out of hand had they not played pretty well in defense. But I mean, had they not played, pretty well on defense. But I don't know. That I think it establishes a lot. I've talked about this a lot the last few weeks when you go 10-2. Because I think the shift has to on Sunday. Lane Kiffin and company, they've got to get out recruiting. They've got to get some momentum on the recruiting trail, not only for this class but more importantly for the next class. I think now you can look kids in the eye and go, "Hey, you can win here." I mean, this next month, there's no reason for this beat up roster to have 15 real serious football practices before the bowl game.
Ole Miss is 14-3 in their last 17 football games.
When's the last time that stretch happened?
Not when I've been on the beat.
The 50s or 60s, probably. Because, I mean, they went 9-3 and 92, but I doubt they were 5-0 on either side.
I think that did answer the question, though.
And this has a chance to be a hell of a run because right now, if you told me to be 1 or 2 off, I mean, Ole Miss could easily start 6-0 next season.
Don't they get the West for the entire back half of the season next year? That's going to be a wild dynamic.
Yeah, the second half of the season is going to be a bear. But, hey, we'll get to all that another day. Appreciate the time. Thanks for doing this all season long. Really appreciate your work, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving to you both.
Yep,
Same to you.
You too.
All right, we'll open up the phones. 14-3 in their last 17.
That's correct, yes.
So they lost to Alabama, Auburn, and
LSU at the end of last season.
That's right.
52-51 or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
52-48, I don't know. What the hell? Whatever.
They've played some crazy games.
Well, they've done that.
Let's see. That's open. Okay, here we go. Hey, who do we have? Hey, who do we have?
Oh, hey, it's Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, how doing tonight?
We're great.
Great.
How are you, Mark?
I'm doing good. Good night. Really good night. What'd y'all think?
What'd you think?
All right, I'll give you my thoughts. I had a bad feeling coming into tonight, and I'm sure that feeling was shared by other Ole Miss fans. But when we started running the ball a little bit the way that we did and tackling them the way that we did, my feelings started to change a little bit. And, we all saw the game. I mean, it kind of ended up being a little bit of a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Not a bloodbath. That's not a fair way to put it, but
It was
it was
31-13
a decided victory.
Like I said, give the is it Jet Johnson? Is that his name?
Yeah.
The linebacker. Give him credit. He makes a nice play. Otherwise, it's a blowout.
Yeah, I will say this. Going into halftime, they dropped touchdown, missed field goals. That was like 24 points.
That was actually the swing of the
You
game.
obviously don't get
Because
all
Ole Miss could
24
easily
points,
have been
but my
down
God,
at half
that was
there.
awful.
And instead, you get the stop right at a half, you score, and you kind of put it away even kind of right there a little bit. I mean, that State throwing up all over itself was absolutely the turning point of the game.
For sure. And it was lovely to watch. And Chase, I know you enjoyed it, or maybe you didn't. Yeah, who knows? But my goodness, we watched that, and I'm watching that game in a house full of people that are as negative a group of folks as you could possibly be watching it with, and they watched that and they were like, "Ooh, that didn't look good for State."
Hey, thanks, Mark.
I like our cases right now.
Thanks for the call, Mark. I'm going to try to get to some of these other calls while we have a chance. Thanks for the call. Appreciate
I
it.
know you got a bunch. Be good.
Thank you. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, Neal.
Yes, sir. Who's this?
Man, hey, who's your guy? Get him on the phone. I'm bringing forward to the sugar. What's your guy? Jay Edwards?
Yeah, John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated. Yep, you need to get in touch with him. It's Jay Edwards.
All right, good plug.
Jay Edwards at regencytravel.net.
I'm bringing forward to the sugar, baby. Let's go. Hotty toddy. I'm going to hang up and listen. Great show. Thank you for everything y'all guys do. Hotty toddy, let's go.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Talk about bowl dates from hell. I was looking at the bowl projection. State projected to go to the Texas Bowl and play on January 4th.
Ooh.
Good God. January 4th?
Yeah, it sucks.
That sucks.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, boys, how y'all doing?
Bubba, what's up?
I have drank a complete 12-pack of beer watching the game.
Yeah.
Daddy's here.
Hey,
We're
Daddy.
in White Pine. I have never been so happy in my life. I'm going to change the dog's name to 10 for Eli and 10 wins.
You should. That's good. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah. Unbelievable, boys.
Good.
I can't complain about
That's
that.
awesome.
So I got one question.
All right, Bubba.
How you think this is going to help recruiting? And y'all have a good night.
All right. I think it has a real chance to help the 2023 class more than anything.
Because that's how it always works. You always work a class back. I mean, you could. I mean, it could do some anomaly individual work as far as this 22 class, but from a wide range thing, a 10-win season helps the next season.
Yeah. Hey, who do we have?
This is Casey.
Hey, Casey, what's up, man?
Oh, enjoying the night, fellas. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was great.
Yeah, did y'all get through all the bland, regular food that we never eat?
Neal ate dressing tonight. I know what you're talking about.
It was good. It was good. It was good.
So stuffing? Neal, are you wearing a quarter zip?
It is a quarter zip. Yeah.
Chase, I wish I believed in anything as much as Chase does the quarter zip.
I only have around 70 of them. I mean, I don't know what you.
I know Chase has like 1,000 of them.
Dude, I'm so dressed down right now. I showed up at the studio. I not only have on a sweatshirt, I have on house shoes. Like I'm completely just like dumbed down right now. I do have house shoes on.
Oh, you do have on slippers, as we would call them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke.
I'm
so
fine.
what's the most y'all have ever had on? Because I didn't get it last time on Super Chats.
This
in one night.
This. Yeah, this is probably about double the most. I want to say we got like half this one time.
Yeah, maybe the night
we did the suckers.
The night they hired Lane, maybe.
Was it
okay?
That, was that
well,
the
I'm gonna contribute later. Look, I want to say my year-long text chain, Boston Rev and Rebel Crispy. We did it, boys. And also, I did something really stupid tonight with my brother that I should not have done. But
what was that?
Well, early on, I live on a golf course on a par 5 with a pond. And it was really cold outside. We were watching the game outside. My brother's like, "What do you think?" I said, "Man, I don't know. I'm scared to death. I don't think we're going to win it, whatever." And he said, "Well, if we win it, I'm gonna jump in the pond." I was like, "Whatever." And I said, "Well, I guess what, I'll do it too." And then all my cousins were here for Thanksgiving, saying, "Let us live it down." So we won the game, and one of the stupidest decisions I've ever done in my life. But we walked down to the pond, east into there, and I think I died twice when I got in there. But we got out, and that was the one thing I wasn't thinking about was how hard it was to get out of the pond, which was more difficult than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that had a chance to be really unpleasant.
It was terrible, and the worst part about it was, when I got in, I was cold or whatever, and I was going to get right back out, but I couldn't get out of the damn thing. I kept slipping. So I felt like Parrish in the backfield. I couldn't stand up, and but finally my cousin's there, and he's a former professional athlete. He's strong, helped pull me out, so we made it. But anyway, that's the stupid thing I did. The hot take I have about the game. What about Joe Tessitore and Dollar Tree A.J. McCarron talking about us laying down Call State to drop 3 balls and miss a field goal? Did y'all catch that?
I did not hear that part. I don't pay a lot of attention to the announcers, and I think that's intentional because I'm trying to really concentrate on what I'm watching and what I'm writing. So I didn't hear that. They
literally said it like 2 or 3 times. He's like, Joe Tessitore's like, "Hey, how about that? That really sparked everything." And then I can't even think of his name, McElroy, whatever, the Woody from Toy Story. He said, yeah, I mean that play changed everything, laying on the field, and then that just threw the rhythm off. And I'm like, dude, they dropped 3 balls. I don't know how Hill falling down with a fake cramp could have started that, but whatever.
And State did some fake cramps too. Everyone does the fake cramp thing. It is what it is, and until they legislate some way to de-incentivize it, everyone's going to do it. So it is what it is.
Well, look, here's the deal. F them. I mean, we all do it, but they all do it. But how are you going to police it? You can't, because if you try to do something, I mean,
the way you police it,
have somebody?
The way you police it is that if you get hurt and you have to come out, that you can't come back on that possession. That's the only way.
Yeah, they can do that. So I think, I know y'all said 14 or 15. I picked this team as the best, and I'll tell you why. The mental toughness. If you look at 14 and 15, granted we beat Alabama, but we also lost to Memphis. And what other crap game did we lose in 14?
They lost to Florida. They lost to
in 14. They lost to LSU.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Arkansas and Auburn.
Yeah, Arkansas bent us over the kitchen sink, didn't they? I mean, that game was really bad.
That was one of those cold, wet days in Fayetteville, and Wallace got hurt early, and it was 30-0.
Yeah,
it was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. I think Matt Corral's my favorite Rebel. He's mentally tough. He just wants to win. I mean, I can't say enough about him. He carried the team, literally carried the team. We had injuries. I mean, he was awesome. I thought the defense plan was good. I listened to Pete and everything. He was fantastic. But I told some of my friends, my group, I said, I think it's going to be a red zone game, like whoever can score in the red zone, because I knew State was going to move it. But if we could just get in the end zone and keep them out, then, it was good. Also, I thought Campbell played awesome. So, Neal, have you introduced him to any of your daughters yet?
I have not.
Okay. Look, I don't have girls. I have 2 boys, and I'm sure yours are fantastic young ladies. But he's an awesome dude, and she could be Campbell. How cool would that be?
I could run it by her. That's probably about as far as it would go. But yeah, he's a great kid. Young man, I should say. I've really enjoyed talking to him. Hey, thanks for the call so much.
All right, thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Why is my height in the conversation? Why is everybody asking how tall I am?
I have no idea. Hey, who's this?
Hey, this is Marine Rebel from the board.
Hey, Marine, what's up, man?
I'm doing good, man. What are you guys drinking tonight?
I mean, I've got to drive, so I'm drinking seltzer water. It's one thing. Well, not really though. Like, it's one thing to even drink, obviously, but it's another thing to literally be on video doing it and then drive. Like, there is a part where we go, hey, no, officer, not at all. You can count the sips. Yeah.
There's this new invention called Uber, man.
Yeah, at 1:30 in the morning. I
don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't trust any of those.
I don't have to. I don't have to drive tonight, so it's. I have an advantage that he doesn't have.
Yeah, that's very true. If you guys haven't had it before, I tried the Angel's Envy. Have you guys tried that?
It's fine.
I've had it. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's not bad for a night. But to be honest with you guys, I would really prefer the Fiesta. I mean, I don't think we've ever been to the Fiesta. I would love to go to the Fiesta. So
I haven't been to the Fiesta in 21 years. I went to the 2000 Fiesta Bowl.
21 years sooner than I've been to the Fiesta.
I saw Tennessee. I covered Tennessee and Nebraska in the Fiesta Bowl.
I'd probably, maybe mortgage my kids, my youngest daughter's college fund to go. Whatever. I mean, I can build it back up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just some cryptocurrency, you'll be right back before you know it.
Well, I am investing in some cryptocurrency, so we'll see about that. But going into the game, if you had told me that Ole Miss's defense would have done what they did because I watched your the pregame with Pete DeWeese.
Yeah.
And every time I watch Pete DeWeese, I'm like, oh God, how are we going to win this game? And I didn't know if there was any way to stop it because he was just, God love the guy, but I love him, but it seems like every week I go into the game going, oh crap.
Well, I think what Pete shows you week after week is that just how good some of the coaching is around the country, and he also shows you the respect that you should have for the offenses and defensive schemes that are put together. That there's another team out there that's trying to do something against Ole Miss, just like Ole Miss is trying to do something against those teams. I've thoroughly enjoyed the times with Pete because I have learned so much football.
Oh, I'm not saying I haven't.
Oh, no, I know you're not. Yeah, no, what he shows you is, go back and now that it's over, you can kind of watch it with a smile on your face. Go back and watch the second half of Auburn, Mississippi State, and watch Mississippi State just slice and dice Auburn's defense. Got everything they wanted whenever they wanted it.
Well, it's like when he was talking about that, I think it was the receiver in the slot that would come over the middle, and he would read the backer and see whether he was going to sit in the zone or keep going. I kept watching for that the whole game. And I was like, holy crap, this guy really knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, no, Pete's great.
How is this guy not a college coach, and even a position coach?
Because it's just so difficult. A lot of it is timing and a break and those kind of things. And then I think for someone like Pete, I think a lot of it is he enjoys what he does. He enjoys working with young people, and I think he enjoys his family time. And he's still a young guy. There's no telling what opportunities might come his way, but the guy really knows football, and he knows both sides of the ball.
Yeah, which is fun. That's just how his knowledge of the game has really it's really helped me. It's like you said earlier in the year, you actually start to watch the game different. So, if you guys could keep Pete DeWeese for next year and all the years coming, that would be great.
We will try.
And by the way, I know you guys did an NIL deal with Chance, but just give him all the money. Chance, I have been so impressed with Chance Campbell this year. You guys don't understand. I'll send you guys a super chat. Just give it to him.
Okay. Hey, Marine, thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
Yep.
All right, brother. Bye.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, guys, it's Vibin' Rad.
Hey, Vibin', what's up, my man?
Man, what? 10 wins in one regular season. And look, and I'll say this to someone who everyone's talking about the Fiesta Bowl is cool. I'm telling you right now, as someone who lives in South Mississippi, I would really, really appreciate a Sugar Bowl berth.
Well, I can tell you we're both cheering for the Sugar.
Yeah, it's not even close.
And look, and I'm at this watch party right now with a bunch of Ole Miss fans. We're like, shit. Ole Miss versus Oklahoma or Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, Yeah,
Michigan, that's fine.
Any of that, we'd be good.
Well, I guess Sugar Bowl would have to be Oklahoma. Sugar Bowl has a Big 12 tie.
Yeah.
So it would be Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, or Baylor.
Be a Big 12 team?
Yeah, but Sugar Bowl has to be a Big 12 team.
Well, I almost feel like if Oklahoma State found out they'd have to play us in the Sugar Bowl, they'd opt out and be like, no, we don't want to play.
It's been a rough go for Oklahoma State against Ole Miss. They've had all the football games. The women's golf team beat them in the national title last year. Oklahoma State's had a hard time with the Rebels.
They would say no mas. They don't want that smoke anymore.
You know how every message board is freaked out in all ways. The Oklahoma State message board is like, God, not those some bitches again.
Yeah,
they just can't get away from Ole Miss.
No doubt.
For some reason. Yeah.
I will say this. I will say this. Whenever I thought Will Rogers got hurt, I just want to say, anyone who was a meth head or no, I'm sorry, not a meth head, just Mississippi State fan, thought that injury was deliberate.
Yeah.
Hashtag never forget. Our country will never forget that dirty ass play on that quarterback. But I had to. Honestly,
he did treat that like 9/11 a little bit.
Well, he said hashtag never forget, which is the hashtag you use for 9/11.
Yeah.
It's so deranged.
They hit the other leg.
He is so deranged. My God. It's incredible how he's gone from a complete drug addiction to a hate addiction.
You know what? Honestly, it's one of those things. It's cool. Yeah, I'm going to make fun of him for it. But if that's what he needs, man, you know what? Have it. It's fine. But it's okay. Honestly, so what did y'all think about Kiffin towards the end there? Was he barking at their players or he was just...
He was barking at a player. I don't know which player it was. It was a state player. I don't think it was players plural. I think it was one player, and he finally said, "Look at the scoreboard."
Oh, I love him. I hope we keep him forever. I hope we sign him for $11 million a year. I know we can't afford it, but I don't care.
Okay.
He's so on. Oh, yeah, God. Look, man. Yeah, I'm telling you what. 10. And look, can I go on a little bit of a rant here? And I'm not gonna drop any F-bombs or anything, but I'm gonna use some profanity. I understand that our fan base is a little frustrated with how the recruiting is going, and they thought whenever Kiffin would be brought in, they'd be signing, top 10 high school classes. But we need to grow a sack here and realize that Lane Kiffin has been coaching college football for a while, and DJ Durkin has been coaching a lot of college football for a while. Guys, I think they know their shit. Like, I mean, I understand there's some frustration with the fan base. There's a lot of anxiety. They're going to hit the transfer portal hard, and, I mean, you guys can back me up on this. To their credit, they basically hit on all the big-time transfers they brought.
They are. It's complicated, and we'll talk about it a lot over the next month. It's more complicated than that. They are going to hit the transfer portal hard, but they do, and he knows it. I talked to someone today who knows it well, and they've got to get more organized in high school recruiting. They've got to do a better job in high school recruiting as well. It's a complicated topic. But hey, Vibe, thanks for the call. Appreciate you. Okay.
Thank y'all.
You seen this? There's a high school girl somewhere.
Yeah, so what did she say? Like, I saw the video, but
Well,
what is the audio?
He's laying on some sort of a couch or something, and
sure.
she's sitting in front of him. She's a fairly attractive blonde, and you know how that works. She says, Arch Manning's going to Ole Miss, and Wright? And he goes, right, hotty totty. And she goes, yay. And so
that's setting the internet on fire right now. Is what
it's
you're
a
saying?
7-second Instagram story that is lit middle-aged white man.
At multiple message boards, probably.
Multiple.
I could probably go to the Georgia board right now, and they'd be very frustrated about this. Let's do it. Let's go see.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Why don't you take a call? Let's go to Georgia.
Hey, who do we have?
I'll go to Orange Bloods next.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
With him?
On Arch,
Yeah.
Texas is in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you that now. Hey, who do we have?
Well, hello, this is Tammy.
Tammy, what is going on?
Oh, my goodness, I've missed you boys so much.
We've missed you, Tammy. How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, my gosh, it was wonderful. It was just fabulous.
That's great.
Yes. My husband killed a mess of squirrels.
Oh.
And we've had a yummy feast tonight.
That's disgusting. I mean, that's great.
You don't like squirrel?
No, I would not eat squirrel.
Have you had it?
No, but I don't think I'd eat it.
Why?
Well, no, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so let's just discuss.
Let's do it.
Okay, so again, I have just missed you boys so much. Last weekend, I went on a girls' beach trip to Moss Point at the Quality Inn and Suites, and we had a divine time.
I bet.
Just a fine time.
I bet that was
Did
awesome.
you eat at the good Applebee's?
Oh, my goodness, yes. And we had, like...
Those damn riblets.
Oh, my gosh. The steak and shake, we just had whatever we wanted to,
That's
and it was
fantastic.
fine.
That is fantastic.
Hey, I do want to say, Lane looks so hot
He did.
in that trench coat.
he
like
did
he
look-
was going
oh,
to
yeah.
close a deal tonight.
Oh, you talking about when he walked in with the overcoat? Yeah,
Yeah.
He did. He did. He looked hot. No question about it. No,
Oh, my
absolutely.
God. He was like, oh, my God.
Mhm.
He walked in like he was ready to close the deal.
Yeah.
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 Yes. Well, listen, I've had quite a bit of Zen tonight, so forgive me.
It's okay.
But
That's what the holidays are
I
for.
do what?
That's what the holidays are for.
That's it.
Yep.
It's holidays.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's just discuss about Walt. Little sweet Walt.
Who is Walt?
Oh, my goodness. Walt, who wants to throw his phone at the little fire flame that he said the other, evening way back when. That he just, You remember when he said to me, or no, well, really not to me. He said that he wanted to throw his phone into his fire pit, because he was so disgusted.
Oh, okay. That
okay.
Walt. Okay, yeah. You got to fill us in a little. Yeah, sure.
I want to address that, and I just want to tell Walt, please don't do that for me. I mean, I love you, Walt. Don't do that for me.
He'll probably apologize.
Yeah, he probably will. Hey, Tammy, thanks for the call. We appreciate you.
All right, love you.
Bye-bye. I was like, Walt. Didn't know Walt.
I was going like Breaking Bad. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I was racking my somewhat fuzzy brain at this point about Walt. Walker Bailey's notebook is up, by the way, at rebelgrove.com.
Okay.
So we got lots of content. We'll have more as the night progresses. I was looking to see if the whole Kiffin thing was even up yet.
Is it not?
I'm looking. Let's see.
They got out of there pretty fast.
Yeah, it's up.
Okay. You playing it?
I got to download it first.
Okay.
Would you like to play it?
Up to you.
We'll take some calls first.
Okay.
I have it. Hey, who do we have? Hey, who's this?
This is Bennett from Oxford.
Hey, Bennett. What's up, man?
Oh, nothing. I'm just a little, well, I'm going to be frank. I'm drunk right now. But I'm
I was going to say, you're not a little drunk.
We had a hunch.
No, I came back from Gatlinburg, and I brought a bunch of moonshine with me, and I drank a fair bunch tonight.
That's okay.
I'm not gonna be negative. This is probably the best Ole Miss team I've seen in my whole life tonight, and I'm just like happy to see this.
Good
We're
for
10-2.
You should be
first
happy.
time in history.
Mm-hmm. You should be happy.
Program.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm just happy. I'm not gonna be negative at all about anything I saw tonight.
No,
I'm
you
just
shouldn't
happy.
be. Yeah, you should be happy.
Negative tonight would have been a problem.
Yeah, negative tonight. I was going to yell at negative people. So I'm glad that nobody's negative.
You should, Neal. You should, because I call in this a fair bit. Hell, my cousin from Texas said that he listens to this a fair bit, and he said, I know when you call on.
So you only had moonshine tonight?
I've had a fair bit of
what else
I've only had moonshine.
What else would
Well, I
you
went
like
to the
for
Old
him to have?
Smoky Distillery in Gatlinburg, and I had a great time.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Oh, they had like fair few varieties, and I brought home like the blueberry pancake and the apple pie, and just a straight.
Hold on, blueberry pancake moonshine.
Yeah, it's very good. It has the blueberry taste on the front.
What did they flavor it with?
Blueberry and maple.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. That makes sense.
So it's very good. The favorite I had, I mixed two, and it was coffee and French toast. So you had like the black coffee in on the front and the maple syrup on the back.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just happy tonight. I mean, I've seen probably the best Ole Miss team I've seen in my lifetime. Go 10-2 for the first time in school history, and
You said that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I've said that a fair few times tonight.
You did. Well, hey,
I'm
listen,
sure I have.
Enjoy a happy night,
But,
Bennett. Thanks for calling.
I will. Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you for picking up.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
All right.
Y'all have a great night, and everyone who's listening, have a great night. And also, Rocky 4 is the best one.
Amen.
Amen.
And,
absolutely.
Go Warhawks.
Go Warhawks. Thanks, Bennett.
We need to check in with Romero, because I was going back and forth with him on Twitter. He ran out of Tito's, and his options in the liquor cabinet were all ultra hangover in the morning. There was no good option, and he was trying to cater into it. I need to figure out what he went with.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's TT in Memphis.
What's up, TT?
How y'all doing?
Good.
Good. So my question for y'all, what is the legacy of this 2021 team going to be? Is it going to be, two and Matt Corral and how he just willed Ole Miss to victory week after week? Or is it going to be, kind of what the defense did in the back half of the season?
I don't know. I think it's going to be that it was a team that figured out different ways to win.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I thought about too, because like I couldn't answer that question either way. I mean, it was just one thing, different thing, week after week. So
I heard Matt Corral say this a few times over the course of the last few weeks, where he talked about how much he loved this locker room, and people who don't.
Well, man, you could tell.
Some people don't understand what that means.
Broadcast after the game, but he was in tears.
Yeah, some people don't understand what that means.
Yeah,
but a lot of times,
doubt.
not every team loves each other by the end of the season. A lot of times, teams are sick of each other by the end of the season, and this team got closer and closer and closer, and they played for one another. And it sounds corny, but it's true. When
well, and you've seen that with even really, really good Ole Miss teams of the past too. I mean, there's not really that kind of go into a fire for these guys kind of mentality. And you see that on this team, and I think that manifests itself through too. But, biggest standout I had, that defense, guys, from the Tennessee game on. And I was in Knoxville, and I've been to every game since except for tonight. And it was, first 6 games to the last 6 games was impressive. And I think the credit goes to Durkin and those guys on that.
Yeah.
Including Springer, Campbell, and Williams.
Sure. Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
All right. You got it.
Underrated thing I'm seeing on Twitter here. I mean, we've talked about this throughout the season, but if we're kind of reflecting on the regular season tonight, almost had to play 9 straight games because of that early bye.
Yeah.
Went 10-2 with Liberty at 7-2. I mean, even though it was Liberty, and then a bunch of league games after that point. Kind of interesting there.
You want to hear from Kiffin?
Sure.
All right. I have no idea how long this is or whatnot, so I'm gonna set this up.
I bet it's not long.
I'll put Kiffin in, and then we'll come back and go from there. So it's gonna take a second. You got to see me full screen for a minute. Then I got to move this here, and I X myself out.
All right, take 2. Really, grateful of our players, for them to come on a short week on the road in a hostile environment, very hostile. I'd been here one time before with Alabama, but it was different. There was different energy in there. Really cost us actually on the early 4th down. We were trying to get out of it, and players couldn't even hear us. I guess they're not supposed to ring them at that point, but it seems like they were. So, that cost us a critical situation there. And our defense really, bend, don't break the whole day. And, keeping them to all those field goal attempts was huge. And our offense struggled early. Those are really good defensive players. I said it all week. And you see them in warrants. They're really long. They've recruited extremely well there on defense, and you can see it. So, it's not easy, and guys rose to the occasion and find a way to win, and they did it. It wasn't easy. It's a top 10 rush defense and on the road, so just so proud of our guys, and just awesome to see them. Before we got here, they've talked a lot about it, these 5th, 6-year seniors, what they've been through to get to this point, and to watch them and just watch them sing there at the end and enjoy it is really neat. And told them all week, you can do things that are special, but it's really special if you do something that's never been done before at a place. And they'd never won 10 regular season games. And for this group of players and assistant coaches to do that was really cool.
Nick Suss, go ahead.
Lane, there's going to be a lot made about the 10 wins. Is this what you foresaw when you started the season, or did it kind of click for you later that you guys had this sort of potential?
I would have foreseen this season. I don't know if you would ask me 2 years ago necessarily when we first got here, but after spending a year with the offensive firepower and coming back, I don't know if I'd have predicted if you would have told me the quarterback would have been hurt, all three receivers would have been hurt, and all three of those guys missed time, and some all at the same time. I don't know that I would have predicted that, but our defense held us together through those injuries and did it again tonight. And I mean, the third downs are kind of crazy. 11 of 18 on offense and 4 of 14 for those guys was a huge part of the game.
Michael Katz, go ahead.
Hey, Lane, I know when we've talked to Matt earlier this year, he's brought up that there's just something special about this team and the guys in the locker room. From your perspective, what is it that has kind of made this team a little bit different?
I don't know. I kind of call them a blended family. It just kind of gets put together. Some have been here 6 years, from the beginning, and some been here 1 year. And they've come from all over the place. We got transfers, walk-ons, everything. So it's really cool to see them pick each other up. Every coach always says, this team's a family, and they say that every year, and that's not really true. So this is one of those unique years, unique teams. They really are, and they protect each other like that and play for each other like that.
Blake Topmeyer, go ahead.
Yeah, Lane, you guys at this point are probably almost certainly going to a New Year's Six bowl game. Can you put into perspective what that means for Ole Miss football?
Well, I hope we are, because they just all celebrated like we are. So you have some really upset players. They went 10-2 in the SEC and aren't. So it's just it really is remarkable. What these kids did, and they call themselves Band of Brothers, and they really are. And it's really special. And again, never doing 10 regular seasons, do it. Football has been played here a long time, and and the SEC is as strong as ever. With more SEC teams than there used to be, so it's even harder. And so really, really special deal.
Nick Suss, go ahead.
Lane, was there a point in the spring or summer, or maybe even in the fall, when you saw the defense kind of believe in itself for the capabilities it's shown later in the year?
Yeah, I think they had some scrimmages where, when we're full strength on offense, when Ben was there and the receivers are healthy, we're really good with this quarterback. And so, our defense would struggle. And then there's a couple of scrimmages that they really stopped the offense. And I think they felt that confidence, and it just started in the Louisville game. Just such a different feeling to the way that they hit, the way that they played. And obviously schematical change helped and transfers helped. Kind of went free agency, whether it was new guys like Chance coming right now, or guys that had sat out last year, like Otis and Mark.
Blake Topmeyer, go ahead.
And Springer, obviously, sorry.
Lane, I don't know if you've thought about this, but there's a lot of talk in the offseason about a 12-team playoff. If that were in place today, you all would be headed to the playoff for the chance to play for the national championship or compete for it. Has that thought crossed your mind? And what do you think about it if so? The fact that if that were in place, you guys would be playoff bound.
Yeah, I don't think that way. I mean, that's fun for fans and you guys to write about, to give people something to read, but that's not the case, so it doesn't matter. So I don't really think about things that aren't possible.
Any other questions for Coach?
You never know. Maybe everybody will lose Saturday and we'll get in. Never know.
I'll follow up, not on that thought, but
I don't know analytically if that's possible. I haven't studied the analytics.
With the defense, I guess to follow up on what Nick asked, just a 1 year turnaround, what allowed for that to happen? I mean, you guys, it's been well discussed. We're not very good defensively last year and kind of holding your own at this point. Are there a few things that maybe you think allowed for that to turn around as well as it has in 1 year?
Yeah, two major things: a major schematical change, completely different, wholesale on it. We didn't go halfway and say, okay, on first and second down we're going to do it, but on third down not. We went all in on it. It's kind of like going tempo offense. Just going all in, and players. I mean, you got different players than a year ago out there too, playing, with Otis and Mark and Springer and Chance. That's a lot of guys right there.
Nick Sass, go ahead.
I know you kind of downplayed the rivalry this week, but after that Ely touchdown, we saw you kind of get into it with your sideline and with some of the fans. Just what does it feel like to you to kind of get swept up in the emotion of a moment like that?
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that, but I get it now. Like I said, it was different than coming here in Alabama. There is, a lot of things said to you on the way out. Their players, say a lot of things during the game, and it gets emotional and gets competitive. So I did kind of get caught up in that. And those bells are really annoying, by the way. So, and they don't even come close to following the rules. So whatever rule that is that they're supposed to stop, they don't.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
That was Kiffin. There's some players and stuff. I'll upload that. I'll upload that on this site and at rebelgrove.com as well.
I mean, they're late when Emmanuel Forbes was talking a lot of trash on the sidelines. Lane walks out on the field and just points at the scoreboard and looks at him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on with Lane there.
The bells are pretty annoying. I mean, in fairness. I know we've missed a lot of super chats to acknowledge. I apologize. Cameron says, thanks, Neal and Chase, for great coverage throughout the year. Love to see the way MPW has evolved over the last couple of years. Yeah, we've evolved. That's for sure.
It's different.
I'm not. I think evolved is the word. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Holden in Texas.
What's up?
Hey, having a good night. Obviously, good to win. First thing, obviously, I took the under. I knew that you said earlier in the week that, you thought it was going to be a blowout, which obviously it kind of wasn't, that you thought it'd be in State's favor. But 8 of the last 10 Egg Bowls have hit the under. I've had a lot of pride in this defense since the Tennessee game, really. Obviously we lost to Auburn mainly because of health issues on the offensive side of the ball. I thought that was awesome. I've got a lot of friends that have almost disappointed in this season, but if you think back, we won, 4 or 5 games?
They're disappointed?
Yeah. I mean, just with the season in general, it's kind of that always one
Why?
thing. Exactly. I think if you would have told me Matt Luke's last year that, hey, in 2 seasons we're going to be in New Year's 6 with 10 wins.
Let's talk about this for a minute, because there's 100, let's just call it 130 D1 schools. Is that fair?
That's fair, yeah.
There's 124 that would trade places with you right now.
Oh, I agree. I'm with you.
I mean, Georgia would say, no, we're good.
And Ohio State's good.
Ohio State would say, no, we're good. Cincinnati would say, no, we're good.
And Alabama.
And
frankly, everything else is somewhat debatable.
And maybe Oklahoma State if they win Saturday.
And Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame. Everybody else would go, yeah, we'll trade. We'll do it.
No, absolutely. And I'm with you. And, you kind of see the sentiment. And obviously, I kind of had it almost that we are on this moment early on. We held them to a field goal. Obviously, we went for it on 4th down from our, 33. Didn't get it. You just kind of had that haunting feeling early on. But it never felt like this game got away from us, which I liked a lot. But even going into this game, I don't think there's a lot of fans appreciating what we have right now. I think there's a lot of worry about Kiffin and everything, but I think this is a moment that, as an Ole Miss fan, you really got to enjoy. I think there's really something to what Kiffin's done here so far, and he's shown that you can turn a program around in 2 years from a 4-win team to an NY6 team, and I think that's a huge deal.
The entire path of where this thing has gotten from the last time they were in Starkville till today, I mean, if you wrote it out just on a timeline, it's fascinating just to get to this point. I mean, because it was – I mean, we've talked about this over the course of the season and over the course of his career, but the alternate reality of how close this thing was to Lane at Arkansas, Corral at Oregon in the playoff, and maybe – going to New York, and I mean, like, it's just
out of business.
I mean, it's just like, I mean, just a damn eyelash from being the case.
Oh my
what's
God.
going on right now?
You're a
and Elijah Drinkwitz is the coach
preference
right
of the
now.
coach away from maybe still being, kind of on the bottom end of this. And the SEC West is probably the most competitive division in the league by far. I mean, apart from Georgia, who are you looking at that could really compete in the West?
I mean, it would be a hell of a Belk Bowl coming up if Elijah Drinkwitz was the coach right now. I mean, it would. I'm sorry, Duke's Mayo.
Well, I mean,
Bowl.
2 years ago we were in this room, and that call on you and I didn't see it live.
Mm-hmm.
The Elijah Moore penalty.
That's correct.
And you're like, oh, you can't call that.
I thought they were calling a celebration.
Yeah, you're like, you can't call that, and then they show the replay. You go, oh my God, yeah, you can.
Yeah, got to call that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I think that's a penalty.
And last thing, I'm sure y'all haven't seen it because obviously you're on the air, but I mean, Leach is Leach, but obviously his post-game presser, he's not, going to be the furious Dan Mullen personality that's in that room. And I think that may eat state people alive, that he's just, kind of the same basset hound he is, win or lose.
Yeah.
That this doesn't mean more to them. And I mean, I really don't know where you go from their perspective, because obviously this hurts, a lot losing at home and everything. But I mean, I don't think Leach really gives a shit either way. It's more or less just a loss to him. And I don't think either of these coaches really, value the rivalry like a lot of the fan base does.
I will say that, I mean, you can do whatever you want to, Neal. Looks like
Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
I will say that's the only thing from the standpoint of Leach that, while I do agree with Jefferson's standpoint of he just hasn't been the better team. I mean, and frankly, even at Texas Tech, they were outmanned by Oklahoma and Texas. But it does desensitize you. I think when you get to some of your goals as a coach without winning that game, Leach didn't go into this going, oh my God, this fan base has to have this. I don't think he thinks like that, and I do think it can affect you in a rivalry like this.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Byron in Saltillo.
Hey, Byron.
So I kind of want to shift gears a little bit if I can, guys. Well, not completely shift gears, but you mentioned it earlier, Steve Roberts and that whole thing. I really do think as you guys, I would just love to hear y'all talk about this for a little while. And, as you guys have, were so, again, you acted like journalists the whole time and professionals, but, the whole, quote unquote, sabotage of our program by Mississippi State adjacent people,
sure.
The NCAA saga, all the names.
Sure.
I mean, I really think you have to say tonight, I mean, we joke about him, but I mean, the guy has got to be apoplectic, Steve Robertson, because this shows, I mean, it was all for naught.
Yeah.
I mean, we're back in the New Year's Six.
Yeah.
I mean, it's over.
Yeah,
the Leo Lewis
great.
thing, Dan Mullen, it's over.
It's a great point.
Over. It's completely over.
Yep, it's a great point. Hey, thanks for the call. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
It's true.
It was like the final, well, all right. Cool.
I mean,
took 6 years, but
I think if you honestly, Steve Robertson, the day that Hugh Freeze got fired, I bet he thought, got him. They're dead. And they're not at all. In fact, nobody would, if you asked, hey, which program's on top right now, it's easy.
I think State's ceiling under Leach. Is that what they're doing?
This. 4-4 in the league.
It feels 8-4.
Yeah.
Not bad.
No, they're fine.
They're good.
They're fine. No one would watch them play and go, they're a bad team.
No. They're all right.
Yeah. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is William in D.C.
Hey, William.
Hey, man, what an awesome night. Awesome season. My dad's up here for Thanksgiving. Finally got to watch a game with him, so that was awesome. Hey, what do y'all think about Matt's chance for the Heisman? I mean, I'm thinking
to win it.
To win it.
Yeah,
I mean, C.J. Stroud has to blow the game. Bryce Young has to blow the game against Georgia. I was looking; he's 16th in history for yards and touchdowns. So he has somewhat stats.
So here's the path for him winning it. It's a really difficult path. It's Michigan blows out Ohio State,
and Stroud looks terrible.
Stroud throws like 4 picks, and then Georgia just absolutely humiliates Alabama, and Bryce throws 3 picks, and then there's kind of a campaign for Corral. Okay.
You try to, like, as a program, you've almost got to, like, be known as a little engine that could a little bit. It's got to be all Corral for a Y. And then, but it feels like he's going to comfortably get invited.
Yeah, I think he's going to finish third.
Yeah, that's what. So he's gonna get there to New York. You think?
I think so. Yeah, I'm voting for him. He's going to be number one on my ballot, and there will be other people who put him there, and there will be people who put him second, and there will be people who put him third, and it's a hell of an accomplishment. If you think about it, 2 years ago he was going to transfer to Oregon, and today he's going to finish probably third for the Heisman Trophy. It's remarkable.
Yeah, it really is. Well, thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you.
And Ole Miss has had 3 third-place finishers, so he would tie for the highest ever. They never had a second or
Archie
first.
and Eli.
And Jake Gibbs.
Andrew Mazzanti, I think is how you say it. Thank you for the super chat. He wanted to know our thoughts on Sam Williams. I mean, the guys that made money, it's Sam. Sam was terrific. He just really matured this year. He put it all together at a year when he needed to put it all together, and he did.
I think he ended up with, 12 and a half sacks for the season?
He was dominant.
12 and a half, 13 and a half, something like that.
Oh, let's see. You want me to put the number up? There's the number. Yeah, I would think Lane would go to New York with Matt. Matt's going to get I think Matt's got a real chance to win like the Maxwell and some of those things. It might end up being the really weird deal where Bryce Young wins the Heisman and Matt wins a lot of the other awards.
I think Eli won the Maxwell.
He did.
Looking back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keith Carter doing some trolling. He was playing Journey on the way back to Oxford and put it on Twitter.
Oh.
State has "Don't Stop Believing" as their fourth quarter song. For
I was
anyone.
aware.
Yeah, just for anybody who's not experienced that.
You like Journey?
Yeah, I'm fine with
like
Journey.
Journey, too.
Yeah, I got no problem with Journey.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Wesley in Oxford.
Hey, Wesley, what's up?
Nothing much. I was just calling to see how much of basically the production on the field and like how much momentum the program's gained, how much of that is a result of Keith Carter and then Lane Kiffin? Like, if you're going to try to divide up basically, who's more responsible for how much everything's grown, how do you divvy that up?
Look, he couldn't have done it without Corral. So I give Kiffin still the majority, but I mean it's close. I mean it's a team as much as anything from a pair standpoint. I mean it's 51-49 in my opinion.
Yeah, I know that, when everything went down for when they were first starting to hire Kiffin, from like what I had read at the time, wasn't it basically Carter along by himself that really kind of paved the path to get to there?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
okay.
I mean, if you're asking if there were people that were working against that hire, sure, there were. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd heard a pretty prominent family, but y'all didn't ever want to say who. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was it. That's
All right.
the first time ever calling, so I didn't expect it to answer right away. But thank y'all.
Thanks, Wesley.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Thanks to Irish Reb. He says, how could we get matched up with Michigan? What needs to happen? I hate them. I would love to see the Rebels kick their ass.
Michigan has to be in an Access Bowl, but they can't make the playoff or finish next in the Big Ten. It's a very tight path for Michigan. They would need to lose, still be in an Access Bowl, but Michigan State jump ahead of them, and then Ohio State make the playoff. And that would put them in the Fiesta or the Peach, and then Ole Miss would play them if they were
because Michigan State would go to the Rose.
Correct. Yes, they've got to be the third team, like Ole Miss is the third team.
Gotcha. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, Neal, this is Michael.
Hey, Michael.
How y'all?
Good.
What a day, what a game, blah, blah, geez. Neal, that was a cool thing you did with Chad Kelly. I enjoyed that.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah.
That was very, very nice. I hope he does well. I don't know why he wouldn't do well in Canada. He's got a great arm and he runs like crazy. If that works out for him.
Sure. I hope he gets an opportunity to
You
play
know,
in the NFL. Yeah, so, sure.
Whatever. He did. This is a sidebar here. He did seem kind of anxious about his brother not being on scholarship. I thought I felt a little bit of whatever about that.
Yeah,
Did
a little
you?
bit. Sure, that's his brother. I mean, if you've got brothers,
Yeah.
you get that. Sure.
Yeah. I'm awfully impressed with his brother. He looks like he should be on scholarship. Anyway, how you doing, Chase?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. I want to ask y'all one thing, and Neal will be ecstatic about that, I'm sure. And I'm out. After all this, when the season started, I thought 7 or 8 wins would be wonderful, and 9 would be the ceiling. So we overcame that. 10 wins. What an effort.
It was a hell of an effort.
Okay. Yeah, and I would love to talk about 10 different players, the
10.
offensive
Pick one.
linemen, tackles, whatever. But I want to ask y'all, I think these 2 players made
Cut it
the
to 2. That's
difference
good.
between the team being a 7 or 8 type team and what they accomplished. And I want y'all to tell me whether you think that's correct or not. These 2 guys, Mark Robinson and Chance Campbell, and I'm going to hang up and let y'all talk about that. I think those 2 guys made the difference. Among, 12 other people made differences. But those 2 guys, to me, changed everything. Anyway, bless your hearts. Happy Thanksgiving, and you guys are awesome.
Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to you, too. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
So, how do you rate this, Neal? We'll do it this way.
All right.
1 through 3 importance. Springer, Robinson, Campbell to the defense.
Boy. It's hard for me not to put Chance number 1. Because without him, they just don't have a linebacker at the beginning of the year, and they lose. They lose to Arkansas. They lose to Tennessee if Chance Campbell's not on the field.
Okay.
If Sanogo plays, and not to pick on Momo, but if Momo Sanogo plays instead of Chance Campbell, they lose those 2 games. So then I'd probably put Springer next and then Robinson. And it's really close.
Okay.
Trying to figure out why my phone was blowing up now, I know.
Robinson is so interesting just from the standpoint of giving them that extra linebacker and not really the flyer, because I'll give Ole Miss's coaching staff credit. I mean, you had a walk-on running back that you turned into a starting linebacker in the SEC. I mean, that it's a situation where a lot of, and I think you'll agree here, a lot of SEC coaches or just coaches in general would not have shown the flexibility to even try it. And to the level that you give a true opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something to that from a Robinson standpoint.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a great story. Will he miss the first half of the bowl game, by the way?
I assume so. I don't know that for sure, but yeah, I would assume so.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is JT.
Hey, JT.
So I'm on the road back up to DeSoto County. You guys are keeping me awake. I was out of pocket during part of the game, and I was trying to keep track of our running back reps, and it seemed like Parrish was just not in the rotation tonight.
He wasn't.
Did you get a snap count?
I don't have him up yet. Hey, I only, and I mean, I know Richard was in the stream. Maybe he has an idea if he's still there. I only noticed that he was in on maybe 3 series from the standpoint of like start to finish when they were in tempo and getting them out. I thought that he for sure had the fewest number of snaps out of the 3.
They weren't doing as much pass protection with the running back, and so that minimized the need for him.
But he only had two. He only had two attempts for 5 yards in the game.
And then Jarian and Snoop both played really well.
Jarian was passionate. I mean, he was all over, and I think the game meant a lot to him. I think it meant a lot to Matt. And it's incredible back to 2018, his first game in the ball as a Rebel, and obviously 2019, and how he has just made his mark.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it here. I mean, Jarian was 16 for 60, Snoop 14 for 54.
What was Matt rushing?
12 for 45.
Okay.
Yeah.
So fantastic ground game, but it's some coaches are doing with all the talent they have in that position.
Hey, we're losing you, JT. Thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
Bye.
The phone was not blowing up for any reason relevant.
No. It was a conversation we were having amongst ourselves.
Yeah. Not just ourselves.
Yeah, with an additional person.
Yeah.
Hey, who do we have?
Chase.
Yes.
I mean, here we are, 10-2.
We are here. What do you think?
Dan and Jack home living the y'all lifestyle.
Okay, cool. So you got your 4 roses. You got your cigar.
4 roses. Oh, I got 4 roses. I do. I'm telling you, this is a night. Can we just talk about this? If you can't run the ball for 100 yards in the SEC, you cannot compete. It is what it is. Look, they'll win 6 games. They'll win 7 games. You can't do it.
No, there's no doubt about it. Zero doubt.
And you're not giving them credit on, hey, the swing pass is the same thing as a run.
If you can't line up and get 100 yards on the ground, you're not going to win the SEC championship.
You're not going. No, not in championship, Neal. You're not going to win more than 7 games in this league. You're not going to do it.
Fair enough. No argument.
Yeah, I mean, that defense. Give DJ Durkin a raise.
Oh, I think he's going to get a raise.
Oh, they got to get a raise. I mean, we went there, we tackled, we did what we did, kept it in front of us. You can't run the ball. You cannot win. You can win 6 games. You might win 7.
Oh, come on. Listen, at the end of the day, it's football. It's a line of scrimmage game.
That's right.
And if you can't run the ball and you can't stop the run with some degree of effectiveness, it's not going to work.
That's exactly
and
right.
If you can do those 2 things, then everything else that you build on goes from there. Look, Georgia's the best team in the league right now, right?
Yep.
Georgia can run the ball at will, and they will take away the run, and then everything else is a bonus.
Neal, think where our defense is this year. We were talking all June, July. You guys did this in May. We're talking about where's the defense at? I mean, where can we improve? They improved.
Well, we knew they would improve. What we didn't know was how much they would improve.
We didn't know if it'd be 90, 80, 70, 60, or 50.
I mean, if I said that, if I did I don't know, I'd guess this summer I did 25 radio shows, and everyone also goes, hey, is Ole Miss's defense going to be better? And my answer was always the same, to the point where I could almost say it like in my sleep. Yes, the defense is going to be better. The question is how much better, and that's the answer that I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you this, guys. Look, 4 years ago, these morons thought they had left us in the dust. And look, they should have. They should have. It's their fault they didn't.
They can't because they don't have – look.
They don't have –
They don't. Listen.
Ole Miss is going to, barring this week's games, I was going to look this up anyway.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is going to finish 57th in the country in defense.
And if you had told me before the year, we always do the football gods.
Yeah.
If the football gods had come down and said, hey, Ole Miss finishes number 57 in total defense. That's all I'm going to tell you. Scoring defense. That's all I'm going to tell you. Peace. And then they leave. Right. They poof. They're gone. I would have gone, oh, shit, they win 10 games.
Yeah.
Chase and Neal.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything you've done this year. Really appreciate it. Keep up the good work, and hell yeah, damn fucking right.
Thanks for calling.
Someone's asking if that was a legit verbal commitment.
I'm going to say that's not going to be enough for us to switch his his profile thing.
No, probably not.
Going to need a little more than that.
Yeah, it was a little. The girl incentivized it because that's what girls do. But yeah, it's a 3-team race, and Ole Miss is one of the 3 teams. It's Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss. That's who's in it. It's not Texas. What's Lane's latest tweet?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Hey, who do we have?
Profile. Need a little more.
Hey, turn your device down.
The girl and think about it, because that's what.
Yeah, got to turn your device down.
I'm this one bringing it back home again, and he's telling me he wants to stay another year. 30 minutes out. # gold necklace. He's with Corral. I'm gonna
guess.
I'm gonna say they're having a good time.
I'm gonna say they're having a good time. Matt's not coming back.
No, I think Matt's out.
Yeah, Matt's not coming back. If you're doing that to yourself, stop. Don't. Yeah, no. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Robert.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, you guys know why girls in Starkville don't do reverse cowgirl?
Okay.
Be careful, but go ahead.
Be very careful.
They don't turn their back on family. Y'all have a good night.
All right.
Thanks, Robert. It's good. It's clean and it was funny.
It was okay. Yeah, I was real worried for a second.
Was too.
Yeah, in the last 30 minutes, we've got Matt coming back and Arch committed to Ole Miss. It's been quite the show.
Breaking.
Yeah.
She doesn't turn her back on family. Yeah, if Matt Corral were to try to come back, someone would stop him. I mean, it's not. He's a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. Hey, who's this?
Hey, this is Cole from Greenville.
Hey, Cole.
Hey, guys.
We're good.
Good. Well, listen. I was on the side of some of the fans that after the repeated comments on attendance and things of that nature from Kiffin. I think frustrated might be too harsh of a word, but maybe a little irritated or something of that nature. I think today, didn't it have a weird chance to get toxic even with 9 wins? But I mean, that doesn't feel fair at all.
Yeah, no, it.
There was a lot swinging on that game.
Yeah, it was a big game. I'll tell you how I knew it was a big game. And I didn't know it until today, if I'm honest. I got up this morning and I wrote 2 columns.
Mm-hmm.
One with them losing. And the column with them losing after talking to people was not harsh, but it had a funny tone to it. Like I was like, holy shit. Like what?
Yeah, they still went 9-3 in year 2.
And I had to go back in and couch a lot of stuff. But winning was a totally different deal. And now they've got to capitalize on it. And so here's their thing, right? They've got Friday to celebrate and Saturday to celebrate and enjoy, but that coaching staff's got to hit the road on Sunday, and they've got to do a great job recruiting. They've got to improve on recruiting, and I think Lane. I'm told Lane knows it, that they've got to get more organized, and a lot of the disorganization is on Lane. It's this change in the middle of the night, kind of a philosophy that doesn't work. You've got to be more organized than that. And this 2023 class, the one that ironically involves Arch Manning one way or the other, is vitally important. And they've got to start attacking that class Sunday. And so that's kind of where they go. They've got a lot to sell and a lot of momentum, but they've got to use it effectively.
Here's a couple thoughts, and then I'll let you guys go. But one, if I would have told you that we had 10 wins this year, or if somebody would have told me that, I think I would have been more susceptible to believe that versus where we stand in recruiting today. I don't think that I would have believed that we had 10 wins and where we stand in recruiting today, which is unbelievably interesting. I know it's clear that it sounds like the transfer portal is the way to go, but with 10 wins, it's a lot easier to swallow, I guess. I'll say that. The last thing I'll ask is, hey, is there any way, and this is an interesting question, is there any way that this makes it harder for Lane? I mean, having a 10-win season in year 2, man, it's hard to go up from here, and it's hard maybe to repeat from here.
No, I don't think so. I think people understand that next year's could potentially be a step back. from a win-loss standpoint, but he's got to go. It's about recruiting now. It's about the portal. It's about high school kids. It's the whole deal. He's
building a program.
He's got to build a program now. It's the one thing that is left for him to prove. It's in so many ways. He's got to establish that he can do that, because the other part he's proven that he can go in and take your players and get it done.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate
Thanks for the
it.
call.
Have a good night.
Appreciate it. Hey, who do we have? Hey, who's this?
Hey guys, it's Billy.
Hey, Billy.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just wondering, whatever happened to Spencer?
I don't know. I hadn't heard from Spencer in a long time.
It's been almost a year.
It's almost a year.
Yeah, I think so.
I just really always thought he had some special takes. I thought we were compatible. Sorry, guys.
All right. Thanks.
What?
Nothing.
Oh.
Hey, who do we have? Hey, who's this? Turn your device down.
What?
We're approaching the drunk part of the evening.
12:20 is typically about the. There's a certain cutoff.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Hey, good. Who's this?
This is Bill from Louise.
Hey, Bill.
How y'all doing tonight?
We're-
Y'all had a good night?
We're good. Yep.
Man, I tell you what, I love watching that game. And then my favorite part of watching the game is the post-game call with you boys. I
Thank
can't tell you how much I love it.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Bill.
I mean, it absolutely makes my night. I mean, watching the Rebels whoop that ass all night and then turn around and I get to celebrate with all my Rebel brethren, I tell you what, it don't get no better than that.
Been a good night for a lot of people, Bill.
It has.
Yeah.
It really has. And,
It
you know,
has.
I was really proud of the team, the way we went into Starkville tonight. You know, we showed some composure. We didn't act a fool down there. We didn't lose our tempers. We just went down there and played football.
All seriousness, I don't know that Ole Miss did anything extracurricular in this game.
They were cool the whole night. Just played.
That's what I'm saying.
Getting a lot of noise in their ear.
You know what? I think that's a compliment to the coaching staff because, you know, in the past you've got Hugh Freeze, you know, Matt, Luke, and them guys, and they, you know, they're real uptight about that Egg Bowl. And
Yeah.
you know, Lane kind of got that I don't give a shit attitude about it.
He
And I
does.
think that rubs off on the players, and they don't go in there with old tight buttholes. I think that they are just playing ball. They just went down there and played football.
He did buy in pretty quickly though. Like the emotion and the annoyance got to him, as he said. He was annoyed fast.
I mean, absolutely. You ain't human if you don't hate a damn cowbell. That shit sucks. Don't nobody want to listen to that bullshit all night. But he went down there and he played ball. He went down there and coached a hell of a football game.
Yeah,
He did. His team was ready to play. Hey, thanks for the call, Bill. Appreciate you.
Love y'all.
Ginger, you're right. Mac Brown on the kickoff was one of my favorite things
Well,
all
I
night.
kept saying it all night long. Every time I'd watch the play, I went, "There's Mac Brown. He's trying to hit somebody."
I mean, that dude, he was not going back to the sidelines after he kicked.
No.
He was headed down there.
He was getting his money's worth at the
Yeah.
last one. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Steve in Greenville.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, just a quick question. How many of these losses can State's coach take before he gets on the hot seat?
One more.
Ooh, no matter what else going on.
I mean, come on. I've been here long enough to know that they're insane about this rivalry.
So you can't lose too many.
I mean, imagine this. Who does Steve Robertson do a show with now? Does he go to like the local hookah store, or what does he do?
Bulldog burger, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine how upset he is?
You think he's
I mean,
frustrated?
he's not going to wash his hair for another 300 days.
All right, guys. Thanks. Bye.
I mean, you're probably right, though. I mean, they lose next year in Oxford, and
it's 3 in a row. How many do you get to lose?
He did a good job this year.
He did fine.
He was fine.
He's fine.
But the West is a bitch.
And getting harder.
You can lose a lot of games quickly.
Yes. LSU's about to pay potentially Lincoln Riley $12.5 million.
Fine goes 1-6 in this division.
Yeah,
1-5.
Alabama's in this division. LSU's about to pay a coach $12.5 million. A&M's got the number 2 or 3 recruiting class coming in. Jimbo's done a good job. Sam Pittman's doing a good job at Arkansas. This division's a bitch, and you can't compete at Mississippi State if everybody else is doing good. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is JD from Olive Branch.
Hey, JD.
How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, just had to. So, want to get your thoughts on. I know the recruiting class coming in, but what do you think the ceiling is for the team next year? I know that Kiffin's going to come and hit the transfer portal hard, but do you think that they step back and go 7-5, or do you think you're looking at another 9-win season potentially?
7-5 is a hard thing to do from a PR standpoint because I think you're 6-0. And if you're 6-0, 7-5 is kind of like those Cutcliffe finishes those few years where because couldn't go out the hump, kept having 7-win seasons, but it was kind of backloaded with losses. I think the positive of that schedule is the early momentum, but it also gives you a minute to kind of figure it out.
Sure.
Whereas you're much better off doing it that way than playing all the hard damn games early and then having the lighter on the back end. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you made me guess right now, I'd say 8-4.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and I think that fits right in line. I mean, you're looking at state schedule next year; they're looking at 6-6, 7-5, maybe best case, and who knows what's going on with Leach at that point, right?
I'll say they win
if he goes 0-3 in the Egg Bowl, it could get ugly real quick, right?
Yeah, I'll say they win the 4 non-cons, and they beat Kentucky, Vanderbilt State, and one more.
Ole Miss.
Yeah, no, good deal. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
And as Wilson
Yes, sir.
says in the thing, it all depends on the quarterback. I mean, until we know who's taking snaps, it's impossible to do this.
Yeah. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Brandon.
Hey,
from
Brandon.
Columbus, Mississippi.
Hey, Brandon. What's up?
Am I on there?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
on.
go
You're on.
ahead.
All right. Y'all doing all right tonight?
Oh, good.
Doing great.
All right. I was call and talk. I was actually at the game, man. It got pretty crazy with some fans. They like Lane said, they sure didn't stop ringing them bells when they supposed to. I wanted to talk about
real quick, Brandon. Did it start clearing out at 31-13? When did they start heading to the turnstiles?
a lot of them, few of them. Some of them stayed once Matt threw that interception. They kind of like stopped in their tracks.
Okay. Gotcha.
Go
ahead.
And then after that, after they scored a touchdown onside kick, it was gone for sure.
Go ahead with your question.
I don't really got a question.
Or whatever you're going to say. Sorry, your comment's fine. Whatever. I stopped your train of thought, so proceed.
Oh, you're good, man.
All
right. I've been hearing Matt's talking about he's not going to play the bowl game. Y'all got any thoughts on that?
He is going to play the
He
bowl game.
is going to play the bowl game.
He is going to play.
He said if he's healthy, he'll play.
And he's healthy. He said he's healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said he's all good.
That's good. I'm glad he's not acting like Elijah then, because if we ain't have him in the bowl game, I don't think it'd be very good.
No, and Elijah's deal was different than Matt's.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I mean,
honestly, I wouldn't blame him for not playing. I mean, he's about to go probably first round, maybe.
Oh, he's definitely going first. He's definitely going first round. He's going to. The NFL would have questions if he didn't play, and so he is going to play. But I also think it tells you a lot about this team and how tight they are and how much they care for one another and all that stuff. And they're going to play in a New Year's Six Bowl, which is different than going to the Outback Bowl as
during a pandemic season.
During a pandemic year when
they were 4-5.
You need to get ready to go play. Yeah, it's totally different. I mean, and for Elijah, it's worked out because he's playing really, really well for the Jets right now, and putting himself in position to have a great career.
Yeah, he has. All the boys, AJ and DK, have been having great turnouts in the NFL. I didn't really have nothing much to say. I just want to say happy Thanksgiving and appreciate you answering my call.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Bagman.
Hey, Bagman, what's up?
So I was the guy that was in Tuscaloosa. I called the tailgate there a complete trash hole, the Wannabe Grove. I was in Starkville tonight. It was even more of a Wannabe Grove. And, I mean, look, last week after A&M, they didn't want to even, talk to us.
Not sure what happened there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he hit a button or got stage fright.
Stage fright, I think.
Do you?
Yeah. Who do we have? Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Seth from Collierville.
Hey, Seth.
How are y'all doing?
Great.
It's two Seths talking to one another.
Yeah.
Seth and Seth.
Exactly. So I'll keep this short and sweet. Just want to give y'all something to think about. We basically talked about Ole Miss stuff for majority of the night, and people brought up some stuff with State and Leach. So think about this scenario. State seems to be rabid for the rivalry to be toxic. I know some Ole Miss fans are too, but seems to lean that way a little bit more. Do you think they look for a scenario to try to get rid of Leach and bring Mullen back?
Ooh, bring Mullen. Would Mullen go back? I don't think he would.
Nah, I don't think.
I don't
Dan
personally
does
think
that.
he would. I think he probably needs a break, but
yeah,
they throw $7 million at the guy. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, they would take him back tomorrow.
Yeah, but I don't.
I think they would too.
I don't think Dan would go back.
Yeah. Okay, that's really all I wanted. Just some food for thought, I guess.
Where is his next gig, though? Thank you.
Analyst somewhere?
Where'd you say?
He said an analyst somewhere.
Yeah, he might do some TV.
He strikes me as sit out for a year, maybe do some TV, and then get back in it as a head coach. I just don't think he's.
But do you think he's good enough for TV? Because he seems so abrasive and kind of jackass that.
I think he's a bright guy, so yeah, he probably would do TV. Okay, look, if Houston Nutt can do TV, Dan Mullen can do TV.
Yeah, that's true, and he is a good football coach.
He is,
bad as I
for
hate
sure.
to say it, he's a good football coach.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for the call.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Seth. Hey, who do we have?
Hey guys, this is Kaysen from Baldwin.
What's up,
How are y'all?
Good.
You know, I'm just sitting here. By the way, I've been drinking Dr. Pepper recently, so I'm a little different than some of the callers that have been in tonight. But I'm just sitting here, and obviously been a great night, but just can't get past the fact that, I was sitting in the same spot. I called in after the Egg Bowl in, whatever, 17, 18, whatever, the piss and the miss is
19.
most people like to call it.
19.
And yeah. So, and just, and I was actually a silver lining guy that night because I knew that we needed to lose and lose in a certain way because I wanted to move on from Luke. And just to be here where we are tonight is just surreal almost, when you think about it. Just one thing I wanted to ask you guys. A lot of talk is on Corral's legacy here at Ole Miss, and for the record, Neal, I totally agree in the fact that I think Ole Miss should retire Romero Miller's number 100%. And I know we're kind of on this retiring number deal, and I know the only two numbers that have been retired are Archie and Eli. But I mean, if Corral moves on and has a solid NFL career, as I assume he will, I mean, this monumental program turnaround it'll be something talked about, I know, for my grandkids.
Well, so here's the
what I'm
thing,
saying?
right? Here's what's interesting, is if you tell me that Lane Kiffin uses this season to sort of completely buy into Ole Miss and to capitalize on it and turn Ole Miss into an SEC contender, because I think that's all you can try to and this applies to anywhere. The league is so good that all you can ask is, hey, let's be a contender every year. And then some years you'll win, some years you won't. Some years you'll just run into a juggernaut like Georgia this year, and some years you won't. I think if that happens, you'll look back on this season as the turning point, and Matt's legacy will be different than it would be if, let's say, 5 years from now, Ole Miss is 6-6, 5-7, 6-6, 5-7, where it was just a blip on the radar. So some of that part now is completely out of Matt's control.
Right, and I agree, but I just have to think that if it goes the way you just described, if we kind of become this, personally, I think it's with Kiffin or not. I think if, we start this supermodel deal and we're, a consistent, decent top-tier contender.
Yep.
That, we're going to look back at this moment in Ole Miss history and be like, man, that was the moment.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agree completely.
All right, guys.
All right.
Appreciate all y'all do. I'm going to hang up and listen. Thanks, guys.
You. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Bagman. I think I dropped y'all earlier.
Okay, hey, Bagman.
So, last week, everyone was getting all pissy about A&M after the A&M game, saying we were, didn't score enough, didn't do enough. DJ Durkin deserves an entire raise. Look, Kiffin, honestly, give DJ Durkin the raise and the head coaching job. If Kiffin leaves, give him all the accolades.
Well, number one, I don't think Kiffin's leaving. Number two, I think there's a lot of accolades to go all the way around when you go 10-2. Like, I think Lebby deserves some. I think Durkin deserves some. Partridge deserves some. I mean, this is it's a
but I've seen Kiffin and Lebby sputter this entire back half of the season, and the only one that's led us to wins is Durkin. So give him the job.
I think you can argue that Durkin has every bit as good of a should have been a Broyles Award semifinalist as much as Lebby.
Sure.
And do you think Durkin has to do more to get his image rehabilitated still?
I don't know. I honestly
from an AD standpoint, I wonder if that plays into it.
I haven't asked. I don't know.
I don't either.
That actually probably is a really good thing for Ole Miss, is that Durkin will probably not be like a head coaching, he won't be on the top of head coaching searches because of the past, and he's a really good coach.
Oh, he's a good coach. No, Durkin's done a hell of a job. There's no doubt about that. I mean, from a just straight coaching and scheme standpoint, they've been really, really good as far as they look like daylight and dark compared to last year.
I mean, I remember when, it was the contrast from light to dark with Phil Longo and who was the defensive coordinator back then?
Wesley McGriff.
Yeah, that was tough. Watching the highest powered chase space and just go for a million plays offense with a defense that couldn't even see anything. They were also chasing space. Now our defense, Ole Miss hadn't had a defense like this in, 7 years?
7 years.
At least.
The 15 defense was better than this defense.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but the past 6 games, it's been night and day.
It had its moment.
The Arkansas game, they weren't very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a while ago. I like Neal bringing up the Arkansas game. That was Neal knows all about Arkansas.
We were talking about the 2015 Arkansas game at the time.
Oh, well, hey, 2015 Arkansas and 2021 Arkansas, that's the same game.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Well, hey.
Thanks.
I'll talk to y'all later.
All right,
cool. Somebody asked about Corral's stats for the year. He completed 68% of his passes for 3,334 yards, 20 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And then from a running standpoint, Corral finished with 11 touchdowns on the ground and a net of around 600 yards rushing.
Oh.
So he's right at 4,000 yards total offense. Bowl game will count in his stats, and he's at 31 total touchdowns for the season.
Hey, who do we have? I thought we had somebody. Sorry.
Okay.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Robert again.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, man, I had a question for you guys. What do you think the running back room looks like next year? I'm going to hang up and listen. Thank you, guys. Again.
All right. Thanks, Robert.
Yep.
Parrish and Bullock for sure.
Parrish, Bullock. I think Ely will come back. If you made me guess, I would guess that Snoop leaves.
Okay.
And then after that, I don't know.
Yeah, Snoop's the one I would be curious about.
Alton Hart, thank you so much for the super chat. It's very nice of you. We certainly appreciate it very much. Thank you very much. That's very, very kind of you. Let's see. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, here we go. Listen, I was curious. If you don't think Kiffin's going to leave, who takes over the Florida position? Who takes over that Miami position that Kiffin is in the top 3 to take over? Where do you believe?
I think Florida is hiring
Billy Napier.
Billy Napier, and if Miami makes a change, I think they make a change because they can get Cristobal.
Well, the fact of the matter is that Napier is a gimmicky coach, right? He's coaching Louisiana. They're an underdog. They're going to stay an underdog. Florida doesn't necessarily need that. They want to go away from what they currently had. What they have is Dan Mullen, who's a gimmicky coach, and you want to go to somebody who's a defensive-minded coach. In my opinion, I just believe that Kiffin or defensive coach is going to be who's next. You going back to Dan, or you going to new defensive coach? Who is it going to be?
Lane's not going to be the next coach at Florida.
Yeah, Lane's not getting the Florida job.
No.
No way?
No.
Hey, that's good for me.
They're hiring Napier.
Hey, look, I'll tell you this. I love what I'm hearing right now. I will take Lane Kiffin every day at Ole Miss. Hotty toddy. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
What?
Nothing.
Yeah, Napier's like the least gimmicky coach in the world. Like, he's kind of boring, but he's not gimmicky.
MPW Digital after midnight. It's interesting.
The blood alcohol content goes up.
I mean, I can relate.
It's elevated, as you would say at that point.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. All right, the number is up. Okay.
God, there's still basketball on.
It's like the Hawaii tournament, I think.
Oh, I thought they were playing the Hawaii tournament in Vegas.
Oh, hell, I don't know.
Isn't the Maui tournament in Vegas?
Could be. News to me. Hey, who do we have?
This is Justin and OB.
Hey, Justin, what's up?
I don't think enough is being said about the offensive line tonight. You really need to look at both sides of the ball, man. It's the most physical team won. There's so many third downs that got converted by moving the sticks, just running inside zone behind those guys up front, just sticking their nose in there and getting it when they had to. And, one thing that needs to be noted, I heard the guy earlier, he said, you're not going to win a lot of games if you can't rush for at least 100 yards. That defense was probably, one of the better run defenses we saw this year outside of, A&M and maybe a couple other teams. But how long can they sustain physicality when from fall camp on, they go good on good? They're never seeing that physicality. That's one thing I'll say about Ole Miss. They've changed so many guys on the interior that they still found a way to run the football. And I think there's, our new O-line coach's name escapes me. Everybody was up in arms when we fired the last one, but I think he needs some props on what he did in the run game this year and give us some creases for those guys.
They've done a hell of a job mixing and matching. As we mentioned that, Ben Brown being out for the season, Caleb Warren missing time. Warren coming back and giving them something when you wasn't sure what that ankle was going to be able to do after he got hurt probably is why they're sitting here at 10-2 right now, or at least one of the reasons. It's not the only one, obviously, but that played into it. Without him, I just don't know if they'd gotten enough interior push. And instead, they have. They've mixed and matched. And credit, I mentioned it earlier a couple weeks ago that Lane had been switching around so many guys at that guard position. But he found something with Acker, and they at least kept experimenting. It's kind of like the Mark Robinson flexibility a little bit. There's a lot of people who just would stuck with something and just square peg that thing to death, and instead they kept mixing and matching and giving guys opportunities.
Kiffin tonight just tweeted, "Our fans were amazing tonight. Thanks so much," and at Ole Miss Band with the fire emoji.
What a troll. I love it.
You have no idea.
No.
You have no idea the number of trolls involved in that tweet.
Well, you said Caleb Warren. I'm going to say on the, I guess it was one of the early touchdowns Snoop scored, man. They ran inside zone right behind him, and Imana had a combo. And if you go back and look at it, we're used to seeing Broker driving guys out the back of the end zone, but they put that guy that they were on 7 yards deep. And I mean, that's, again, more physical team won. It's a line of scrimmage league, like you always say, and I listen to you, and I could not agree more.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks
All
for
right.
the call. Crazy.
My God.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I'm like speechless. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Jonesy.
What's up?
Hey, Jonesy.
So I will start off saying I had a game changer patch last weekend. It saved me like big time. I was at a wedding. I took 2 of them. It was awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
They're great. They're great. So I actually wanted to call in and ask about Jamin Brakefield. Do you think he can lead the Rebs to a Sweet 16?
A Sweet 16?
Maybe a first round win.
I mean, probably not. But tonight, let's just hope so.
Okay, Chase, do you think the pitcher from Texas Southwest can lead us to a Omaha appearance?
Yeah.
If they get to Omaha, it's not because of John Gaddis. I mean, I like Gaddis. He's probably going to be a weekend starter. But, yeah, that team's not going to be built on arms. Not going to.
Well, who do you think will be the weekend starters this year?
You're going to get booed out of here. I mean, right now Diamond has an elbow, so we'll go with him, Washburn, and Gaddis.
Do you think Eli Ackle will be the starter at guard next year?
Yes.
Yes.
That guy is a stud.
He's played well. Without much experience at all, he's played really well.
Will Ely get drafted?
No.
No.
So he'll be back?
That's my guess.
Will Rogers be a Heisman candidate next year?
No.
Ooh.
They're going to go
Even in that
8-4. You don't.
No.
Mike Leach quarterbacks don't win the Heisman. Period.
I mean,
I don't.
Matt Corral just took Ole Miss to 10-2, and he's not going to win it.
Yeah, he'll put up big numbers, so they don't win.
No, he's not going to win the Heisman.
Do you think Corral will even get invited?
Yes.
Double yes?
Yes.
Yes.
How many people will they invite? Bryce Young,
3 or
CJ
4.
Stroud, who else?
If you made me guess, I'd guess Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Kenneth Walker, and Matt Corral.
No way Kenneth Walker gets invited after they just got boat raced, right?
I don't know. He's had a pretty good year.
He's had a good year, but I mean, they
yes,
literally got destroyed last weekend.
They did. He had one bad game. If you ask me if he gets invited, my guess would be he would.
I'd also maybe buy Jordan Davis or Will Anderson.
Yeah, maybe a defensive player for the show.
Oh, Will Anderson's the only one for defense you could invite.
Hey, thanks for the call.
Yep. I mean, Graham Harrell, who put up that freaking year for Tech in 08 when Ole Miss played him, he finished 4th. That's as good as you can do under Mike Leach.
For sure.
Dude threw for 5,100 yards and 45 touchdowns. And finished 4th. Tim Tebow finished 3rd.
Oh, did he?
Crabtree finished 5th. An Iowa guy finished 6th.
Hey, who's this?
Device is up.
Hey, this is Vision number 12.
What's up?
So, back to the Will Anderson conversation. I just heard y'all talking about, defensive players getting invited to the Heisman. Will Anderson has to be the number one invitee for a defense, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, I think so. Early in the year, it was Davis, but Anderson's passed him.
Well, I mean, and he comes back. He's not even draft eligible, is he?
No, he's got to come back one more year.
Bryce Young and Will Anderson coming back for Bama terrifies me as an Ole Miss fan.
I understand that. Yeah, I mean they're Anderson will get the most defensive Heisman buzz of anybody since the Ndamukong Suh.
Oh yeah, it's true.
If you had to bet on who would be the starting quarterback for Ole Miss next year, who would you place your bet on?
Spencer Rattler or Miles Brennan or
those were the two answers I was going to give.
Luke Altmaier, one of those three guys
sure,
would be my guess.
I know Brennan's from the coast. Did we not give him an offer out of high school?
They recruited him.
I kicked the tires.
I can't remember exactly how it all went down, but they were involved in it.
I don't see Kiffin giving Brennan. He can't move as well as I feel like Kiffin needs a quarterback that can move, and he just can't.
Somebody's got to play it.
Kiffin is always his. I think the strength of his ability is that he's always shown the ability to adjust his offense to what he has at different positions. So he has to have a quarterback who can move, not necessarily. But hey, thanks for the call. We really appreciate it. Alton Hart, thanks so much. He says, fantastic job this year, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Alton. Really appreciate that.
I don't think anybody's out of consideration, Luke.
Oh, Richardson would be another guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. I do remember the get ready to get skull drug tweet from Brennan's coach.
That's right. What was that guy's name?
I can't remember, but it was emotional.
He left Stanislaus.
I'm willing to give him the benefit of the emotional doubt.
That's fair. It was stupid, but
it was dumb, but it's okay. Larry Joe says, you know what terrifies me? Koalas and spiders. Are you scared of koala bears?
I've never really thought about koala bears.
Are you scared of spiders?
No, snakes, not spiders.
Yeah, for sure.
Bill Connity's the coach of Stanislaus.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about a type of spider there for a minute, and I was like, I don't know what that is.
Remember we looked up that time, that 9-pound spider that's in the rainforest?
Oh, yeah.
It was it was the size of a dog.
Yeah.
Called a monster.
Bill Connity's.
Yeah. That's right.
So I read this stuff today about if you dream about snakes, what it means.
Okay.
And there's all sorts of stuff. About a fear in your life, about something you're going to have to confront.
Sounds like astrology a little bit to me, but sure. Sounds good.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Monty in Meridian.
Hey, Monty.
Hey, guys. You guys do a great job. Real quick,
sure.
I just want to say, could you possibly make the argument that Lane's best job this year was Sunday through Friday? Not really many off-the-field issues, game prep and all that, and possibly still kind of learning to be a head coach in the SEC. I know the Tennessee gig was a while back, but, there's obviously some things that could improve on in the game. Does he go for some of these fourth downs next year or whatever? I don't know, but I just think off the field, not having drama and the way these guys play for each other. I think that a lot can be said for that to the success also.
Well, I'll say this. This is not meant as a knock on Lane at all because, yes, Lane deserves a lot of credit for this. But I do think when you see that kind of thing happen, it's more a result of leadership among older players. And so you have guys like Matt Corral and you have Ben Brown and Chance Campbell and Sam Williams this year has been a great leader on that team. So I think it's more internally than it is the head coach, although obviously Lane does a good job. But in the same way that if a lot of crap were happening off the field, I would say it was more about the locker room than it is the coach.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. It just kind of feels like he's still kind of learning that in game to find that rhythm, like time management. I personally thought with around 7 minutes to go today, we left a lot of we were snapping the ball really quick with that lead, but I'm not going to nitpick, obviously, because we should all be happy where we're at. But he's doing a fantastic job. I just still think he's learning, to be honest with you, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's still things for Lane to learn. I don't think he's maxed out as a coach or hit his peak as a coach.
Because a lot of the things you do when you were, in another conference or against Louisville or things like that, you can't do against the grind of the SEC schedule, and it changes. So I think those adjustments will be made. I think we were obviously better in the red zone. So I like to see the progression. When there's things that need to be fixed, it looks like things are being fixed. We fix defensive stuff. So I just think as a staff, they're progressing, and that's good to see. So thanks, guys.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you. It's the same number. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is booster number 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Arch Manning will be as good as Robert Lane?
No.
No?
No.
You think Robert Lane's better than Arch Manning?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Russin boy, but come on.
Monroe boy.
Monroe boy.
Monroe, yeah. Yeah, Robert Lane, much better than Arch.
Didn't see that coming, did he?
No. You fooled him.
Yeah. Threw the whole shtick off right there. That was it.
We messed him up. Yep. Oh. Can you believe this is the end of 12 games?
I know. I told you it kind of happened out of nowhere. It feels weird that it's not done. Obviously, we have a month to talk about a bowl game, but over a month to talk about a bowl game.
Next week's going to be a weird week on the show, I can just tell you.
Just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, it's going to be a certain degree of just like, hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Bart from Hazelhurst.
Hey, Bart.
I just had one question for y'all. It was mainly concerning how Alabama plays for the rest of the year. Y'all may have already had this question. I hope not. But if Alabama plays Georgia real close in the SEC championship, do you think they're still getting in the playoff? And do you think that puts Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl as the best SEC team not in the playoff?
I'm gonna let Chase answer the first part of the question. The second part of the question is yes. If Georgia and Alabama both make the playoff, Ole Miss is going to the Sugar Bowl.
100%.
I'll let Chase handle the first part of that question because he's paid more attention to that than I have.
My gut says a really, really close game and they stick, just because there's no other great option.
As the 4?
Hey, whatever. I don't.
Okay.
I mean, who cares at that point?
So a 2-loss Alabama could be the 3, and a no-loss Cincinnati could be the 4?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean,
So that includes Cincinnati undefeated.
I think they would be getting in.
Alabama.
I think there's the possibility, as long as Ohio State beats Michigan up a little bit, and I mean, because Notre Dame's lost to Cincinnati, that hurts them to a very large degree.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think you still have a chance of it being.
2-loss Alabama's better than a 1-loss Notre Dame, and everybody knows it.
I think you would have the chance, as long as they play Georgia relatively competitively, for it to be Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Cincinnati. Yes. And they're going to catch hell, but it's what I think happens.
The funny thing is, if you're an Ole Miss fan, you're pulling for Alabama in that game.
100%.
Absolutely.
And it's hard to do, but, I've got a Bama buddy.
I mean,
I'm
Georgia's
with
just
him,
as
and I'm
much
gonna
Eagle
wear a damn
Empire.
Bama
What damn
shirt.
difference does it make? Yeah. No, you're for Bama. 100%.
Yeah.
Because Georgia can get beat 100-0, and they're in the playoff.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. All right. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.
Did you watch that Lions game at the end? How bad their coaching staff screwed that up today?
Kinda. I was at my
They called back-to-back timeouts and got a penalty and lost the timeouts, which allowed the Bears just to kneel and kick the game-winning field goal.
I did not realize that.
Yeah. You understand why they're 0-10.
Yeah. It was on, but
yeah.
We were, yeah. Yeah, if you're an Ole Miss fan and you want to go to New Orleans, it's.
This is all based off wanting to go to New Orleans.
It's roll tide at this point.
Yeah, if you don't care where you go, then it doesn't matter. No, don't do it again.
I'm not.
Nope.
Nope.
I don't really want to go to Atlanta.
No.
I really don't want to go to Atlanta.
No.
Just personally,
I'm not
I
a
have
fan. It does nothing for me.
The Peach Bowl did a good job with us that year, media-wise.
Yeah, it was fine.
They did a good job.
There was a lot of alcohol.
Well, because TCU brought no one. So, like, they literally walked in the hospitality room and goes, "Can you guys please drink this?"
Yeah.
And just put it all on the table.
Hey, who do we have?
This is Drew from Iuka.
Hey, Drew.
Hey, Drew.
How y'all doing this evening?
Good.
Wonderful.
Good deal. Have a good Thanksgiving?
Yes, sir.
Great.
I got you. Now, I just got one quick question. What better chance do we have getting a third installment of a Rose Bowl book on Ole Miss State or a second installment of his poetry book? I'll hang up and listen.
I think there's more of a chance of poetry coming right now. There's not much for there to be written about Ole Miss and State from his angle at the moment.
He probably wants to get.
Going to get through this era a little bit.
Like to make it go away. The Raiders-Cowboys game was a great uniform game.
Yeah.
It's a great uniform game.
It was.
Ooh. Been a hell of a year.
He didn't know Brad. We asked that last time. They're both from Iuka.
Oh, yeah, that's
He
true.
didn't know him.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't ask if he knew Emily or Whitney. Telling you, 12 games.
Yeah.
It feels like we were watching the ball in the air against Arkansas just recently, and here they are.
It does feel like that was like yesterday.
Yeah, that was the one.
All right, we're probably going to wrap it there. Thanks to everybody who called in tonight. Thanks to all of you who've been in the stream. 560.
Still at 1 o'clock in the morning.
At 1 o'clock in the morning, which says a whole lot about the Ole Miss fan base, I think.
Yeah.
Thanks to all the super chats. I know we probably didn't hit.
We might have missed one.
We probably didn't hit all of you guys, but thanks to everybody who did. We really appreciate that. It means a lot to us. We'll put this up in podcast form tomorrow, which will be a fascinating listen for somebody. We won't have a Friday morning podcast because it's 1:04 in the morning, and we're just not. No. We'll be back on Monday, and we'll talk about the Egg Bowl. We'll talk about bowl games. We'll
look at SEC championship stuff, obviously, because it matters.
We'll probably talk more about the Alabama-Georgia game than we normally would have.
Yeah,
in large part because it impacts what happens with Ole Miss. Enjoy your weekend. If you're traveling after going somewhere for Thanksgiving, be safe. And we've talked about this all year. I thanked Jeffrey and Brian for doing this post-game show. Jeffrey for doing the pregame show. Pete DeWeese, Ryan Brown, Ben Mintz. Throughout the year, those guys gave of their time all year long. We'll get them back for a pregame show before the bowl game. But all those guys, it was terrific. It really was a game changer. Totally changed what we do. I've had people ask, did the pandemic change what you guys did? It's kind of like yes and no. We'd already started to change. The pandemic just cemented it. But we'll get back on Monday. We'll do our show. We'll do shows next week. We'll see. I don't foresee Ole Miss resuming any football practice for a couple of weeks. That's my guess.
There's no reason for them to do
because
anything.
why? Yeah. They don't need 15 practices to look at the young guys.
No.
It's a different day. But there's Ole Miss basketball tomorrow. I'm not covering it in person, but we'll bring it to you. They play Mississippi Valley at 3.
Correct.
Is there anything I'm missing? Pretty much covers it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 1:06 in the morning. I'll get up in the morning and put up the rest of the content from this game at rebelgrove.com. There is a promo. Let's see if I'll punch it up real quick.
Rivals 2021.
Okay.
Yeah. You paid us $20.21 for the first year of an annual subscription.
Okay.
Yes. Use the code Rivals2021.
Chase is going to tweet that out for you guys tomorrow and put it up on the site. That's his assignment for tomorrow. And I'll handle the basketball. You'll handle that. Okay. So there's a lot of that. So we'll if you're looking for a gift, that'd be a good gift. And I guess that's it. Alton, thank you so much. He says one for the road. Alton, thank you very much.
Yeah,
everybody be safe tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the weekend of college football. You got a handful of really good games tomorrow: Nebraska and Iowa, Arkansas, Missouri. There's some other games.
Yeah.
And then, of course, a weekend full on Saturday. Chase here's already down 0-1 in Neal's picks.
Oh, well.
For the weekend.
Cap it.
You'll take that.
Yeah.
So we'll be back with you on Monday. Until then, for Chase, I'm Neal. Thanks. And don't forget, walk-ons, 720 Highland Colony Parkway in Ridgeland in the Jackson area. And if you live in the Oxford area or you're coming this way, a couple of weeks, they'll be open on University Avenue. So make sure you see them, and please tell them that you appreciate them sponsoring this show throughout the course of the 2021 football season. Take care. Good night.